Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Toby. Welcome to the podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome. I'm going to give a big shout out to my day ones for the past 6 years, my subscribers, my listeners. I appreciate people who talk about this podcast, who share this podcast, who support this podcast, who write reviews for this podcast. Really appreciate all your support. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been giving it away for free. So many people ask me why I don't film it, why I don't monetize on YouTube, why don't I charge people for it on Patreon? And their answer is because I don't want to. I love these conversations in my kitchen. I love the honesty. I love that people want to come back for 2 or 3 episodes, the reoccurring guests that I have all the time. I love it. No lights, no cameras. I myself do not like going on podcasts that are being filmed and have lights. I've done it a couple times. I'll probably never do it again. I don't feel like myself in those situations. So I want all my guests to be as comfortable as possible. I do have sponsors. The sponsors keep my shit going. They keep it alive. But I will never interrupt a conversation with an ad in the middle of it. People do that all the time, and I will never interrupt the flow of a conversation. So don't worry about that. But I do have amazing sponsors who I align myself with, who the products that I use on a daily basis. I've turned down so much money for sponsors that want to be part of this podcast with companies I've never tried or didn't align with. I'm very picky about who I have on my sponsors and have on this podcast. That being said, check out the sponsors. Joe, cue up the music. Since 1987, Rockabilia has been around doing officially licensed merch. No bootlegs from all the artists that I freaking love, from pop to hip hop to rock to hardcore to punk. Over 500,000 items on this website, independently owned, operated in the USA. Custom limited collabs drop every month exclusively on this website from visual artists and tattoo artists. We have so many bands that I love and artists that I love, from Gaga to Blink, Katy Perry, Bad Brains, Beastie Boys, De La, Tribe Called Quest, 50 Cent, Billy, Deftones, Dead Kennedys, DMX, Dr. Dre, Eric B. and Rakim, Goo Goo Dolls, Hall & Oates, Wu-Tang, U2, Snoop, TSO, and Paramore. Those is to name a few of all my favorite bands that are on this website. I've owned t-shirts from all those artists throughout my life. Now I know to go here only. All officially licensed merchandise. Check out Rockabilia Instagram. Also go to rockabilia.com and use my code OLLC10 and get 10% off. That's rockabilia.com. Use my code OLLC10 and get 10% off your purchases. Thank you to Rockabilia for being our new sponsor. Welcome to OLLC fam. As we get older, we start paying attention to what we put in our bodies. I personally have been listening to my body since I was 18 when I went vegan. I've always been focused on my health. It's super important, mental and physical health. But it's really important for people who are just starting to get more healthy and trying to step up their life. Doing your homework, reading the labels, researching and verifying everything that's quality. It's part of the game these days. That's why I started drinking AG1s. I'm so proud to have them as a sponsor of my podcast. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut support and is backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting into your body. We're all so busy these days, so just store a pack of AG1 in the morning into a cup of water and shake it up and drink it. I love the way it tastes. I do it every single morning. It's part of my routine. I bring the packets on tour. It's an incredible life changer for me. Many supplements only reference research from ingredients in their product, but I trust AG1 in my daily routine because it's constantly putting the formula to the test. It's backed by multiple research studies. In one of those research studies, AG1 was shown to have double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut, which is super important because these help digestion in the immune system and the immune health. And these bacteria are known to help with digestion as well, gas and bloating, which I freaking need. And it also promotes regular bowel movements, what I can attest to. In another research study, 97% participants felt more energy after 30 days and 91% of the participants noticed that they needed less coffee after 60 days. I quit coffee like 5 months ago. I know I'm good on that. But AG1 is packed with a variety of nutrient-dense ingredients and is the perfect complement to my healthy diet. I drink it because I know it's going to work and it gives me a peace of mind covering all my nutrition bases for the day. In fact, I trust it so much, that's why I'm spreading the word about it. That's why it sponsors my podcast. Thanks to Angie Huberman for turning me on to AG1s, connecting me with them, and now they're part of my podcast. It's so easy and satisfying to start your day with AG1s. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of the vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your purchase at drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. It's never been a better time to focus on your health and wellness and get back on track, man. Take control of your daily health. Health is wealth. Okay, welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. I have a very, 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 very special guest in my kitchen. I haven't seen this guy in many, many years. Actually, ran into each other a couple years ago, but known this guy for a very long time. Has been played many, 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 many shows with H2O in the beginning, and now we're a big part of our H2O family tree. Mr. Mark Scondotto, Mark Shutdown.
What up? What up?
Thanks for being here, dude.
Thanks for having me, man. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, dude. How's it? Well, I mean, first and foremost, my condolences to your family for the loss of your brother. That was just recently, like 2 weeks ago. He hit me up. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, man. Been a while.
How many brothers do you have? Because you have your brother, you got Joe, right?
Yep.
And then you got Kevin passed. You have another brother too, though?
John. And then I have Mike. I'm the youngest of 5 boys.
Jesus.
So yeah, Kevin was
shout out to your mom.
Second oldest. Yeah. She same parents, 5 boys.
Are they still together, your parents?
Dad passed in 2014 of cancer. Mom is turning 82. And raised 5 boys. Yeah. And Kevin was the one that passed. He was 56. So it was literally not even 2 weeks ago. It was, tomorrow will be 2 weeks. And, died of a sudden heart attack. Unfortunately, nobody was really prepared for it. We were leaving for California tour just a few days later. So it's been a wild 2 weeks.
It's crazy, man. Right before, like a couple of days before you guys had to leave. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Next week we're having services and things like that.
And was he like, what was he? Is he working? Was he?
He kind of like, he kind of had 2 lives. He was a little bit of a recluse, unfortunately, in his personal life. He stayed home, didn't really associate much outside of that. But, on the positive side, he had a wrestling podcast that had tens of thousands of listeners. It was called the Don, Tony, and Kev Castle Show.
Okay.
And they had like diehard fans. And he also was responsible for the late 90s, bringing out Castle Heights, which that was an outlet for more of like the beatdown style bands that really didn't play a lot of shows like Shutdown did at CBGB's and Wetlands. He gave bands like Irate, Everybody Gets Hurt, Billy Club Sandwich, and Sworn Enemy a home at Castle Heights in Jackson Heights, Queens.
Shows on back then.
He was responsible. Hatebreed played his club. A lot of bands. Lamb of God, one of their first shows was at Castle Heights.
Yeah, because I remember there wasn't many shows in Queens back then. It's a great point.
No, he started that club to try to give an outlet to these younger kids that were looking to play shows in the city but weren't getting on venues. Shutdown was lucky enough at that time. We were getting a lot of shows at Wetlands and CB's, but some of those bands weren't getting those opportunities. So he was able to give those bands a place to play and, just an outlet for them to build a scene. And they actually did. And they built a legacy there. I mean, those bands today, that's really a big style. And those bands are considered, the forefathers of that style of hardcore.
Totally.
So bands like Irate are really legendary, online when you go and look up these bands that start today, and they got their start at Castle Heights through Kevin.
That's crazy. I remember first hearing about Castle Heights shows. I was like, fuck, I never even heard about Castle Heights. Because we played Bayside Queens was our first show on Bell Boulevard.
Yep.
Back in the day. But that was like some random thing. It wasn't like a lot of hardcore shows there. I don't know how that happened, but Castle Heights really, like, with so many bands came out of there. Yeah, it's crazy.
For sure. And then he would put big bands on too. He didn't just book hardcore shows. He, all LA Guns played there, and all these different bands from the 80s and 90s. And he was a guy that booked later after Castle Heights. He booked a bunch of different venues, Lucky 13.
Oh yeah,
and smaller venues, and just had a lot of friends, all different genres of music. I wouldn't call him a hardcore guy. He was more of an underground rock promoter, but he supported the hardcore scene big time.
Yeah. Did your brothers get you into hardcore?
Yeah. Mike and John are, from the late, they started in hardcore in like the 87, 88. And I was sleeping in a room with our parents, come from humble beginnings in Brooklyn. So we all slept in one room. So
damn.
Yeah.
All 5 of you?
4 of us in one room. And then my brother Joe slept, we turned a closet into a bedroom. And he slept it because he was the oldest. Italian family, oldest gets the room. So he had a closet connected to a room. It was kind of like the barracks. Our dad was an Army Reserve guy, and all the beds were adjacent to each other.
Yeah.
Like my brother's feet were like right next to my head. My other brother's head was right next to my feet. It's pretty wild to grow up like that.
Shit.
But the coolest part about that was when they were teenagers getting into hardcore. I was like 7, 8 years old, and they had hardcore posters all over our wall. So I was sleeping, getting brainwashed at that time to love this music. I remember, like I talked about this other times, Underdog poster, New York City hardcore, The Way It Is poster. My brother loved Youth of Today. My other brother, John, had different tastes. He loved more Quicksand and Burn, and just all that stuff was all around me. Like the visuals were all around me as a kid.
Yeah.
By the time I got to be 10, 11 years old, I really started to wonder like what this was all about. And I started going through their records when they weren't home. And
Damn.
that's
Was
when
like the main music in the house? Was there like classic rock, or just mostly you listen to your brothers? Your parents playing music too? Or?
Yeah, no, my dad was a diehard music guy. He had a record player downstairs, and he was always playing either Elvis or Johnny Cash or Rolling Stones.
Sick.
He also liked Led Zeppelin, but he was more of a baby boomer, so for him it was all about more like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
70s he got a little into Zeppelin, but he was a Johnny Cash Elvis guy. So
That's
that was
awesome.
always playing in my house. Like music was always on.
Yeah.
My brothers just took it to another level when they got into hardcore music. They started going to CBs at 16 and 15, 87, 88, making friends. And, I was born in 79, so you do the math. I was only like 9 at that time.
It's crazy.
But I was already subliminally getting into it.
Yeah.
So by the time I was 12, I was ready to go to shows, start my first band. I was full-fledged in.
Holy
But
shit.
the record that started it all for me was Suicidal Tendencies.
Okay, the first Suicidal?
First Suicidal, picked it up, and I just like the lyrics blew me away, the concepts blew me away, the
Artwork, all
the
that
artwork,
shit, bro.
the,
Did you make a Suicidal shirt?
of course.
Hell yeah, dude.
I started skateboarding. Just
Was there a lot of skaters back then, like in Queens?
definitely. I was in Brooklyn,
Brooklyn, yeah,
but
yeah.
my brothers were into like Pal Peralta and things like that. So my brother Mike skated. So
Yeah.
I was like a little kid just trying to be like my big brothers.
Yeah.
But then when I started to see the videos of the shows, it really started to like get in my brain that I wanted to be a part of this.
There was like VHSs back then, maybe?
Oh yeah, big time VHSs. I mean, they would trade VHSs. My brothers collected 7-inches in records, so every time they weren't home, I would go through their records. So I started
Amazing,
listening.
dude.
Token Entry was the second record I ever got into, Jaybird, and only reason I liked that was for the graffiti artwork and the skating.
Yeah.
So I started skating a little bit and getting into Jaybird and Suicidal, and then I picked up a guitar and was trying to learn guitar because I wanted to learn how to play, and that was kind of how it started. I was like 11 years old.
Damn. Were you like, did you have friends in school that into the same stuff? Because you were so young, but because your brothers were getting you into it, were other kids like your age into it or no?
Not really.
Yeah.
I when I was a freshman in high school, I went to high school in all boys Catholic high school. It's called Severian High School in Brooklyn. It's run by Jesuit monks.
Wow.
And it's still there. And a couple of guys in that school that I made friends with the first day of school were the guys in Indecision.
Okay.
And Tom Sheehan and Justin Brannon and a couple of those guys, and we kind of gravitated to each other. Justin Brannon had a varsity straight edge jacket on. He was a sophomore. I was a freshman, and when I saw this kid, I go, okay. He had dyed hair, and I said, all right, I found somebody that likes music like me. And we
Awesome.
became friends like the first day of school. He was a sophomore. He showed me around the school and introduced me to a scene of kids there, maybe 20 kids that liked the music.
Yeah.
And the rest of the kids at that school were like Guidos and, kids from Bensonhurst and, everybody telling them that their parents are in the mafia. Like that was like the main thing in that school, But
What
we
part
were
of Brooklyn was it?
Bay Ridge and Bensonhurst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was different time. That was 1993.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started full-fledged like going into the scene.
And how were you like otherwise as a kid in school and stuff like that?
I was a good kid. I never really did drugs. I never did drugs at all, actually. And, really, I played baseball. I was real sporty as a kid. My father coached my baseball teams. I was somebody that was always outside. I never stayed home. So, like, if I was skateboarding, I was playing baseball. I was outside with my friends. I rode my bike all over Brooklyn. I loved my BMX bike. Like, that was a big thing for me back then.
Yeah.
My dyno. And that was like my life back then. So then I started meeting kids that liked the stuff I liked, and that's kind of what gravitated me more to the music.
Yeah. So you really didn't try anything as a kid, like partying, nothing like
Never.
that?
No. Not as a kid. I didn't experiment at all. Actually, I didn't experiment with anything. And then when I found hardcore, I went straight edge. And then so when Project X was like the first band for straight edge that I listened to. And then when my brothers would see me listening to Project X, which by the way, they have the song Shutdown, and it's part of the concept of how I came up with the name.
Oh shit.
And when Project X, my brother said, here, pick up this Side by Side record. And I started listening to Side by Side. Then he showed me Judge. And my brother Mike was really responsible he was almost like the professor. He would, all right, I'm not going to show you this yet. I'm not going to show you Sick of It All yet. First, let's get through the youth crew bands, because I think that's what you like. And I started gravitating to all the straight edge youth crew bands. I was 13, Xing up, listening to Judge, listening to Youth of Today. And Mike was starting to slowly school me on hardcore.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was he straight edge too or no?
No, not at that time. Mike and John weren't straight edge.
Then you had the GB too, all that shit.
Oh, that was Start Today was probably the record that changed my life. I mean, that record in itself, just the second I heard the horns on that record and just like the vibe and the messages and every song with the positive messages, that's my number one record.
I would say me too. My top of hardcore, and living with those guys during that time, and then actually singing on that record's like was a game changer for me.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I sang the whole record backup. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So yeah, just singing that "Thou Shalt Not Kill." I was vegetarian at the time, wasn't vegan yet, and living with at the GB house in Jackson Heights with Walter and Alan Cage, and Civ. That was a game changer.
Crazy. I
Because
never
Chain
even
of
knew
Strength would come through and stay at her house and bleach their hair and shit in the 80s.
that. Amazing. That was a big band for us too, Chain of Strength. Mike was cool because Mike saw that I liked the straight edge stuff. And my brother Mike, obviously he's 6.5 years older
Oh,
than
he
me.
is? Oh, shit, he's older than me.
So,
Is
and
he?
John is 8 years older than me. So they would slowly start getting me, into the music and,
Perfect.
Here, now you like straight edge? Okay, you're ready for Sick of It All? You're ready for Age of Quarrel, Chrome Eggs now?
You had some Minor Threat in there too?
Oh, how could I not forget that? Yeah, of course. Minor Threat was probably right up there with Project X. As soon as I went straight edge, Mike showed me Minor Threat. So Minor Threat actually preceded
all that
Project
shit.
X. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So your brothers are feeding you the music, you're skating. Are you a good skater?
Horrible.
Was it just getting around and shit and cruising?
Just getting around and cruising,
yeah.
I didn't skate long. The more I got into the music, I tried to pick up a guitar and do that. I hung around my skate friends and just it was just more to hang out,
Yeah. And were your parents super supportive of you going to shows like early age and shit?
Somewhat. My father
Probably worried about you.
Yeah, they were worried about me. The thing about Mike and John is they wanted to take me to shows, but they didn't want to babysit me. They had their friends, they had their crew. They weren't straight edge, so that to watch a 13-year-old kid at a show and make sure that he's safe, and
it was wild back then.
I was a little guy too, man. If I was 13, you probably would have thought I was 10.
Damn.
So it was like, I didn't even look 13. So it was like, going to shows L'Amour's was 16 and up.
L'Amour's is wild too, man.
Yeah, that's where
it was a violent spot too.
Very, very. So they would have to take me. That was the spot to take me to shows, and they would tell my parents shows wouldn't start there till like 10 at night. So I think summer of '93, I was 13. They took me to my first show at L'Amour's, and it was Madball, Crown of Thorns, 25 to Life, Marauder,
crazy
Confusion,
bro.
And like 3 fights broke out.
Of course,
my brothers were terrified.
Before the song started.
Yeah, there were multiple crews fighting. My brothers, were so afraid for me. They like stuck me in the corner and just were like, "Don't move," and it was a real crazy.
Were they schooling you like these are stay away from these dudes, or these dudes are kind of scary?
So funny story about that show. There was skinheads at the show, and I had never encountered skinheads at that time. I didn't know what it was about. I was 13 years old, and they loved me because they heard I was my first show. Mike and John were taking me, and one of them, I won't mention his name, he's pretty well known, and he took me, and he had a 40, and he said, "Hey, hold this 40, so when your brother comes out, he'll think you broke edge." And he just thought it would be funny. And it was just like a dumb thing to do. But like, I didn't drink it, of course. But like, I guess I held it. And he said, "Hey, John, look at your brother." And my brother just like dropped everything and like went after him. And he was like, "What the hell are you thinking?" And like,
oh, shit.
It was a real crazy moment.
Step to him and shit.
Yeah. And it was his boy, and he's like, "Dude, like I'm trying to bring him to shows. Like I don't need, like I'm worried about him as it is, And I think in that moment, his friends knew and accepted like, "Yo, I'm straight edge. I'm going to shows. Okay, when Mark's at shows, we'll all kind of collectively look out for him." And I remember that show really well because it was violent. There was fights. There was guys bleeding outside.
Was it scary for you as a kid going in there?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was there. It was
the atmosphere and everything.
It was a mind shock. Like I don't know how to say it. Like my mind was just warped at that time. I looked at everything around me and it was just like it was a whole new world.
Had you been to other shows, like regular concerts or anything before going to hardcore shows?
Not really.
Wow.
No, not at all. I actually can't recall a big concert going to as a kid. Our parents, again, we didn't really get to do a lot of that stuff. We were a big family.
Big family.
So it was like my dad had 3 jobs. My mom had 2 jobs. It was just hardworking family. We lived on the 2nd floor of a 3-floor family house in Brooklyn. We rented it for 20 years. Damn. And that was our upbringing. Real humble.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So now you're like enthralled in the hardcore scene, skating, trying to play guitar, going to shows. But you haven't thought about what you thought what you wanted to do with your life at that point in school? You thinking about just music? Like, what was your
No, I immediately after that first show, I wanted to start a band.
Okay,
like I was like, I want to start a band. I want to find kids in school to start a band. I went to Justin from Indecision like the next day, and we were in school the next week, and I was like, dude, I got to start a band. Like I love this music, And he's just started Indecision. They were probably around 6 months, and he said, look, I'm really involved in Indecision. We're doing like more heavier hardcore. I wanted to do more youth crew stuff. Yeah. I wanted to do GB, Youth of Today, positive hardcore. And he was like, look, I'll definitely write some songs with you. We'll jam. We'll get the band started. And he's like, we'll just try to find members. I can't be in the band permanently. So we jammed. We had a practice. We wrote a song called United that we still play today. And
Sick,
it's that's what started. Literally, that rehearsal started the band.
So that's your first band?
First band, yep. 32. That was 1994.
Same as us. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, first rehearsal was September 1994. First show was December.
So how old were you when you were singing?
13. I just turned 14 for the first show.
And Shutdown?
Yeah, Shutdown. I was 14.
Fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, crazy. I'll be 46 in September. Same 4 guys.
Same guys in the band.
Yeah, we had original bass player Anthony. He went to high school with us, Anthony Varettos. He helped me start the band. He was somebody, he had a girlfriend. He was 16. He didn't want to tour. So he was in the band for the first 2 years.
Okay.
Dion took over when
16, I get it.
Yeah. And Dion took over when he was probably 17, did the first tours with us, and then stayed in the band ever since. So but the rest, Steve and Jimmy have been in the band, since inception.
So are you still in school when the split 7-inch comes out with Indecision on Back to Basics in 95? You still in school?
I'm a sophomore in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Putting records out in high school, it's like...
I just turned to sophomore. Matter of fact, funny story, we went to pick up those records at Bleecker Bob's. We had to meet... the person that put out that record at Bleecker Bob's. And there was a garbage bag, and it had inserts for the 7-inch. Another garbage bag had just the vinyl, like stacks of vinyl, and another garbage bag had
That's how you picked up from the label owner?
Yeah. And then so
DIY,
he said,
dude.
here's 50 for you, here's 50 for you. And we put them together on the train. Me and Justin, we went home, we put them all, we're on the train all psyched. We're like, dude, we have a 7-inch. And split 7-inch.
But they weren't handed to you put together from the label.
No, we put them all together. And
wow.
And then he said, if it sells, I'll give you more. And we sold those 50, both of us. It was
fast,
real fast to our friends and stuff like that. And then I want to say he just kept repressing, and that split 7-inch was like a real catalyst for us for both bands, Indecision and Shutdown. I feel like in 1995 that put us both on the scene, our names got out there. Because from that, Coney Island High started opportunities. Steve Pass started calling us. Tyler King started calling us. All these people were really interested in the fact that we were both really young. Yeah. Indecision was a little older. They were like 18, 19. Shutdown was more 16.
Crazy.
We were brother bands.
Yeah.
And we both started getting opportunities to play shows, bigger shows, CBGB shows, Wetland shows, Coney Island High shows. And once we made friends with Pass and Jimmy, the opportunities just kept flowing. Creepy Crawl Productions. Yeah, man.
Damn, dude.
And then, so we were 16, 17 playing all those shows. And there's not a flyer we're probably not on from those shows in the mid-90s and then the late 90s.
So many shows, dude.
So many shows with you guys.
I know you guys played Tramps with us. That was a great one.
Yep, we did.
A bunch of shows with us.
2 shows.
Underground Sound in Queens.
Yes. Also, the 2 nights, you guys did 2 sold-out nights at Wetlands. We played with Kill Your Idols on one of them.
That's right.
9 Lives.
Yo.
That was a really fun one.
So many great shows back then.
The Tramps one was, I think, a real memorable one. We have it on video. That show was so oversold. I want to say it was about 1,500 kids at that show.
Was that with
you
Ignite
guys?
Or Crown of Thorns and you guys?
Well, we actually played 2 at Tramps with you.
We did.
We played one with Ignite and Fahrenheit with you guys at Tramps, and the other one was with Crown of Thorns and I want to say one more band, but 2 shows. But the one Tramp show actually coincided with our record. And it was crazy. The kids knocked over our drum set at the end of the show. There was so many kids on stage at Tramps
it's a great venue,
that they pushed the drum set off, but we kept playing. It was an awesome show.
No barricade there too, maybe, right?
No barricade.
Fuck.
Kids just jumped on stage and jumped off. When you sang and kids were singing, they were singing on stage with you. There was no bouncers.
Yeah,
it was
love that, dude.
Very different vibe there.
That was crazy for a big venue to have no barricade back then.
Yeah.
It was special.
It was a cool venue.
Nobody really mentions Tramps that much. It's always the other ones you just mentioned, but Tramps was it was that level size before Irving Plaza. It wasn't. Maybe it was the same size.
I feel like if you were gonna play Roseland next, you played Tramps first.
Damn.
Because Tramps was like the precursor to Roseland. If you were on that verge to play Roseland, Tramps was like that.
What was Roseland, 3,500 maybe?
I think it was about 3,000, right?
We had some great shows opening for bands. We never obviously headlined there, but that was a great venue as well.
Roseland
so
was
then
cool.
You graduated from high school, obviously.
Yep, graduated.
And what's your goals at that point? Just music?
Play hardcore, tour.
No college, no nothing?
So it's funny because
now you're working a job at that point.
I was working a job through, I was a page for a live TV studio show in Astoria, Queens, Kaufman Studios.
Okay.
I worked on a show with Dan Aykroyd called Soul Man.
Nice.
And it was a sitcom that was on for 4 years. And through the hardcore scene, my brother had a friend who was a director of production. And he knew that, I was trying to do tours and get a job in between because I had to support myself. And he hired me and Steve in the band, and we were pages. So as a page, you're like the escort.
What's that mean for the listeners?
It's an escort for when sitcoms are filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Okay.
The page is the person that escorts the audience members to their seats.
Okay.
But essentially, I work all week in the background. I'm with production, so I'm part of the staff. So I'm Dan Aykroyd gave me a Christmas gift that year.
Wow.
A Christmas card from the Aykroyd family. It was pretty cool.
That's sick.
I still have it.
That's sick.
So, all the actors, there was a lot of other famous actors on it, but he was, I can't remember the names, but he was the most famous, and everybody was really cool. Right next door, they were filming The Cosby Show in that studio.
Damn.
And I remember they were doing movies too in that studio. It's a famous, still there, Kaufman Studios in Astoria, but it was off Steinway Street.
Okay.
And
I lived on Steinway Street once.
it was really cool because we got to meet Steve and I got to meet a lot of celebrities, and they were really cool to us. And the cool thing about that job is we could go on tour and come back, and we call this guy named Dana who was in charge of production, and he would hire us and he'd be like, okay, come work, and he would just pay us like contractors. So he gave us an outlet to do that. My first job was at the Coney Island Aquarium. 16 years old while I was doing Shutdown. They told me I was going to be a security guard, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. When I got there, it turned out I was the guy that cleaned up the garbage in the whale where they do the dolphin shows in the stadium.
Serious?
Yeah. So I was like changing garbages out. I did that for a whole summer. That was my first job.
Damn.
And then I was so involved with hardcore. I was at every show. I was making friends all over the world. I was making pen pal friends with people in California, Europe, people I'm still friends with today. I was full-fledged obsessed with the music. Yeah. So it was like everything else took a backseat, Yeah. Everything in my life at that time took a backseat.
You living at home still? So when did you move out of home?
I moved out at 20. Okay. But I was living at home from 15 to 20 when we were touring heavy. Like I was living at home.
Yeah, smart, dude.
So and my parents were very supportive of it. I think at first they were scared. But then, later on when we got signed to Victory and we got like bigger opportunities, my father he said, I knew this was going to pay off. And that was next level because we were 17.
So your dad was supportive and believed in you.
Very, very supportive. Always encouraged me to do it. He said, he used to tell me, he used to be like, when you're older, when you're my age, to think if you ever passed in on these opportunities, he said, you'll have regret for the rest of your life. So he used to tell me, he used to say, this is something you want to take advantage of, because he goes, it's almost like, my father used to tell me, he used to use this term, he's like, it's almost like lightning in a bottle. You're getting opportunities now that you may never get to do.
True.
He goes, do them. You have my support, And my parents didn't have a lot of money. It wasn't like they could financially give me money to tour.
Yeah.
But they said, you don't have to pay rent. You can come home, go and come as you please,
It's fucking amazing, man.
So I'm very blessed like that to have that opportunity. And all the guys had supportive families.
Yeah.
Steve's mother would put trailers and vans on her credit card and let us tour, and we would pay her back, religiously. Like on tour, we would keep Steve would keep the books, and we would pay her back at the end of the tour. But we wouldn't even been able to tour without Steve's parents.
Wow, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. Very supportive parents in Shutdown. Always. Dion's father's from Italy.
Yeah.
And Dion grew up in a real close house with his mom, and his father. We played last year. We went to Switzerland. His father drove from Italy to come see us.
Are you serious?
So yeah.
That's amazing.
Really
dude.
cool. And Jimmy comes from a real tight Irish family. He has 7 brothers and sisters.
Fuck.
And his dad's from Ireland.
It's real New York shit, man. It's
real
crazy.
Real New York shit. And Jimmy is real family guy. And his parents used to lend us their van. His dad had a van. They had 7 kids. They needed a van. So we used to drive and play the Pipeline in New Jersey. And he used to give us the van. And he used to say, but the funny thing is, Jimmy's 2 years older than me. So he was 18. So we were like, the average age was like 16 to 18. We were driving out of state playing shows.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Awesome.
Well, I knew you guys grew up in a Catholic house. Were you guys like strict religious? Was that like going to church and all that stuff growing up?
I don't strict. Yeah. So like with Catholics, I feel like we're all kind of hypocritical Catholics in our religion, right? Like I grew
one too. Yeah.
I grew out of it later in life. When I was a kid, I was an altar boy. When I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, my mother's like a devout Catholic.
Okay.
My brothers are not, for the most part. Hardcore and everything else. They kind of like grew out of it.
Totally.
We all went to St. Mark's Elementary School, which is like a parochial school in Brooklyn, kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
Our parents put all 5 kids through those schools.
Damn.
So that's why kind of how it trickles for me going to a Catholic high school.
Gotcha.
As I got older, I kind of got less out of it. Unfortunately, I didn't, and I learned now later in life, a lot of things got swept under the rug back then.
Okay.
There was a priest in our parish, for example, before I was born, the guy, comes out in 2010, the guy molested like 87 kids.
Holy shit.
Instead of reporting the priest, they transferred him from one parish to the next.
I saw a documentary about that.
So,
that's what they do.
So that's what they did to cover it up. And, it left a real weird taste in my mouth. I started distrusting, my own, unfortunately, I'm honestly distrusting the faith that I was brought up on.
Yeah.
And I decided to kind of make my own, decisions. Like I have my own relationship and my own beliefs. And I explained that to my father. My father wasn't as religious as my mother. My father said, you're your own person. We try to show you things, but we don't try to force things. My dad was really cool.
That's amazing.
And my mom today, 82, is still devout Catholic, feeds the homeless, volunteers in the church.
That's amazing.
It goes to mass every Sunday, I'm not really into it anymore, to be honest with you. I said, I have my own beliefs, but to each their own, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own relationship, their own beliefs in God or whatever. And I have my own specifically too.
Yeah. I feel like when you find punk and hardcore, you start questioning everything, not just with Bad Religion, just bands like that. You start questioning everything you've been kind of raised on. And not like you're rebelling against your parents, but just questioning a lot of things. And I think that it definitely opens up your mind more, I think, as you find punk rock and stuff.
No, for sure. You know, and again, like as a kid, the youngest of 5 boys, there was a lot kept from me that they didn't want me to know. It's just like sheltering type of thing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I didn't know things about my church that happened. I didn't know things about, you know, a priest in our church, for example, stole the money and gambled it at OTB, which was like off-track betting for horses.
Fuck.
This was the priest that was in charge of me when I was an altar boy. I didn't know that, you know.
Damn.
These were like Italian priests from Brooklyn. Like it was like, you know, Father Mangini and Father Arella and like real,
it's like a movie. That's crazy.
Dude, real movie stuff. And the thing about the, you know, unfortunately, I don't stick to the positive, but you know, with the priest stuff, unfortunately, the things that happen with the kids, the messed up stuff.
Yeah.
I only found out about that later in life, and it was like really messed me up because I was like, I was around some of these people.
Yeah.
And of course, like, you know, nothing ever happened with me, but like it made me wonder because there was some kids I went to school with that just, unfortunately, their life took a wrong turn. And these kids were raised in a Catholic household, and it was like very weird to see that. And now I'm kind of connecting the dots, and I'm saying, you know, wow, maybe there's some stuff that could have possibly happened that I just never knew. And it all kind of started to make sense.
Yeah.
When all that stuff started to click, it kind of pushed me away from that specific religion. And, you know, like I said today, like, you know, with my kids, we believe in God, but we have our own, we stick to our own ideals, you know. I don't really conform to any specific religion at the age I'm at now with my family. It's just we have our own beliefs, we have our own faith. That's really the way we raise our kids.
Yeah. That movie Spotlight about all the Boston priests that really put like, they talk about that, how they would move one to the next spot and kind of hide them in another spot.
Because, you know, the thing is,
around. Crazy,
it's just, it makes no sense, right? And, you know, going forward, it's just, I'm all about protecting my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my wife was raised in a Jehovah's Witness household, you know, and she didn't follow that anymore. But, you know, it's weird. We come from 2 very different backgrounds, but we both believe the same beliefs now, where with our kids, we want them to kind of, you know, have faith, you know, believe in there is a greater being, right?
Yeah.
There is a greater purpose for sure. But we want them to be open. We don't want to force anything on them, you know, and that's kind of like how we raise our kids.
Same with this house too. How many kids do you have?
4. Yeah. 2 boys, 2 girls.
What are the ages?
Oldest turns 18 next week.
Dude, that's
and
crazy,
yeah, man,
dude.
Carmelo. Yep. And then I have Julian, my 15-year-old. He's a skater. He's 15. He turns 16 in August. I have 2 girls, and then Harley Quinn she's going to turn 11 in May. And then we had our latest baby. She turns 3. Josie Jane.
Bro,
She
are you
turns
done
3
right now for kids.
Officially, I got the big V right after the last
Yeah,
one.
I got one. Yeah.
And my wife, people laugh at me. My wife got her tubes tied too. We doubled up.
Damn.
We're like, you know what?
We ain't playing around.
No, we want to have fun. We want to enjoy our life. You know.
Yeah.
I'll be working until I'm 85 at this point. If I have one more. So
Dude, it's crazy because you're still young. You're like 46 and your kid's 18 or something. That's great. That's good. That's
so
nice.
yeah. The last baby obviously was like, we call it a surprise baby, but she brings so much joy to our house. It's awesome watching, you know, my 11-year-old like be like a second mom to her, and to have 2 boys and 2 girls, and the boys are older. It's a really cool dynamic because it really is. It's like the girls look up to them, and they really look out for the little ones and the little girls.
Amazing,
so
man.
it's a really, really beautiful dynamic in our house.
Nice little crew.
Dude, it's awesome. You know, blended family. My 2 boys are from a previous marriage.
Okay.
Been with my wife now 11 and a half years, and we have 2 girls together, and it's just I love our family, you know. It's like a real modern love story.
It's amazing, man. Stella farted, by the way. I'm sorry. If you don't smell that, do you?
I do smell it.
How long have you been with your lady for now?
11 and a half years. We're married for going on 4 actually this year, but we met 22 years ago, and we're boyfriend and girlfriend 21 years ago. First year I lived in Miami, I met her. She came into a deli that I worked at. Love at first sight, for real. Like, looked at each other.
Damn.
Fell hard for each other. Like the second she was 18, I was 21. And
It's amazing.
her 18th birthday was a week out. Actually, she was 17. So a week before her 18th birthday. Her birthday's April 11th.
Okay.
And we been boyfriend, girlfriend. I remember I took her to Warped Tour that summer. I was just in Florida, right? So all my friends were on tour. Matter of fact, the summer before we did Warped Tour with you guys, 2001, but we did the August dates.
Okay.
2002 Warped Tour, all my friends were playing. Obviously, all my friends were on the tour, so we were dating, you know. And I thought I was cool. I was like, hey, you want to go to Warped Tour with me? Put on the passes. She fucking walking around Warped Tour, meeting all her favorite bands. Then we went to Ozfest because, you know, Hatebreed was on Ozfest. And so it was like a great summer for us. We had a lot of fun. We were head over heels in love with each other, but the timing was off because she was 18 living in Miami. I was 21 living in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And it was just like there was a lot to live ahead of us
Still
before.
very young, dude,
so we always said, you know, it may not work now, but later in life, you know, we're connected. There's something here. Like we really felt like a soulful connection. We talked about it then, and we said, you know, we're gonna live our life, and you know, if the universe brings us back together, so be it. And in 2013, late 2013, she was living in LA, in Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Gave me a call, said I'm coming back to Miami, and we had dinner one night, and 2 days later, she was living with me.
Holy shit!
We've been together ever since.
That's beautiful, man.
And she's my soulmate. I'm, you know, love her to death, and
meant to be. That's crazy,
yeah, man.
dude.
Yeah, so it's really cool. 22 years together, and 22 years knowing each other, but true love story, like real true love story.
Sounds like it. Sounds freaking
There's people
amazing.
that see her now and like remember meeting her back then because I took her to Warped Tour. You know,
Yeah.
I took her on, you know, the Sworn Enemy bus.
So how many years
Ozfest.
was it where you weren't together in between that?
Let's see, 2003 to 2013.
Oh,
10 full years.
Fuck.
And within those 10 years, she built a life in LA. She came out here. She got her beautician license. She managed a place called Bella Cure. They have like 10 of them from Laguna Beach up to,
Okay.
you know, LA. And she made a whole life out here, you know, loves California. Came back, you know, for family reasons, and it just like worked out. The universe brought us back together. I was at a real low point when I met her because I had gone through a divorce and I wasn't sure what I was doing, and it was like the universe.
How long were you
really,
married before that?
4.5 years, but we
Okay.
were super young. We had
Okay.
kids really young. It was like it wasn't really. Everything was done out of coincidence. You know, we accidentally got pregnant.
Yeah.
Felt like we had to do the honorable thing, so we went to the courthouse and got married. And it was
Wow.
it wasn't like it wasn't really like a love story. It was more like we messed up in our 20s and we wanted to make right by it, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the second son came like a year and a half after the first one, or 2 years after. So
Wow.
we had these two kids and we were young, real immature, real emotionally not really at a
Where
place.
were you working at the time? How were you?
I was actually working.
And how'd you get why'd you end up in Florida?
So the band, we were heavy touring. We
Yeah.
started like heavy touring. The last tour we actually did was that Warped Tour in 2001. Victory got us on the August. You guys did the whole tour. We did the Northeast and South
It was
in
a few
August.
and far between albums.
Few and
correct?
far between.
2000 came out. Yeah.
Correct. And so 2001 and 2000 was like 9 months of touring straight, like touring cycles, Asia, New Zealand, Australia, you know, Europe 5 times in the year. It was a full life, you know, and then
That was your full-time money, everything, right?
everything.
Okay.
So, and we were making a lot of mistakes. You know, we were paying a manager and a booking agent. We were only making like 60% of our money.
Dude.
No bookkeeping, you know, just like tallies on paper. Could have did it a lot better, you know,
Yeah.
but I was 18, 19, 20, 21. You know, it happened so quick that it was like we had been touring from 95, but like to do this full time, what happened was after the Warped Tour, a couple of the parents of the guys came back to them. They said, you know, we really want you guys to think about at least take a semester off, go back to college. And that same week, right before 9/11, right after Warped Tour ended with you guys, we got offered a big tour in Europe for, you know, a bus tour with Biohazard and DRI.
Damn.
And MAD said, this is going to, you know, we had already toured Europe with Agnostic Front. We toured Europe with Ignite.
Yeah.
We were basically at that point where we were going to break in Europe. We were already broke in Europe, but we were about to kind of get next level.
Yeah.
And I went to the guys. I was like, you know, Biohazard, we're Brooklyn kids. That's the one band that eluded us. We toured with everybody to that point. That was our bucket list tour.
Okay.
And I begged them to do it. Begged them. It was 6 weeks in Europe on a bus. We were shared the bus with Biohazard.
6 weeks, damn.
Yeah, back then.
then it's normal.
Yeah, and you know, the parents weren't on board, and so the guys came to me and they kind of said, "Listen, we're gonna go back to school for a semester, maybe 2. You know, we've been touring a lot to this point. So when Few and Far Between came out, September 10th, 2000,
Yeah.
we hit the road the next week. We stayed on tour the whole year till the following year, September. I wound up getting really pissed at them when they said they didn't want to do the Biohazard tour in 2001, just right before 9/11, right after Warped Tour finished. And it's kind of like we didn't break up, but it was kind of like I didn't want to go back to school. School wasn't for me. College
Music was everything for
music
you,
was everything for me.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were at a point where we were rising. We weren't going down. So it was like the worst time for us to stop. And I was kind of like mad at them, you know, I was mad at them.
Yeah.
And
Resentful
my
probably,
grandparents had a condo on the beach, near the beach in Florida. They lived there forever. And my dad said, you know, you've been on the road so long, you needed a reset. So why don't you go down, stay with grandma and grandpa? You could go to the beach every day.
How old are you then?
21.
Okay.
And he's like, you know, you can go down there, just reset your brain. I was really upset about the not going back on the road.
Yeah.
I was like, everything was going right for us, you know? We weren't making any money to support ourselves still. We were making money, but not enough to live on our own and pay rent.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, we reached out, and when I came to Florida, I kind of started a life down here. And then January came, we got offered another tour. And I went to the guys and they said, you know, we went to the first semester. We're just going to finish the second semester out. And I said, I knew it. I fucking knew you guys were going to do this shit. And then all these things started happening, dude. Steve's mom died of breast cancer.
Oh, man.
She was in her 50s. And if you know, in the beginning of the podcast, I was talking about how influential his mother was to the band. She used to pay for the van rentals and you know, it's a very, very tough loss for Steve.
It's horrible,
for the band. That was in 2002.
So young too, yeah.
Very young. And so all these things started happening, you know, and it just kind of delayed. 2003, we got offered to play a CB show for our friend Frank Collins, who was actually at 9/11 but died in a motorcycle accident. He was a Port Authority cop. He was in the band Confusion with my brother Mike, well-known guy in New York, like in that scene. And we did a benefit at CB's for him. It was sold out. We played it, crushed it. It's like, guys, you ready to go back on the road? And they're like, you know, not necessarily, you know, like let's play shows. Let's do what we can, but we want to finish, get our degrees.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it stopped.
Damn.
Never stopped though for more than a year or two. Like we just played, you know, we played Black and Blue Bowl 2006. We played one of the OG Black and Blue Bowls at Webster Hall. Crazy show. You know, we didn't want to we wanted to do things authentically where when we got opportunities, we wouldn't just beat the dead horse, like just play very specific shows.
Damn, man. And then that's a whole, well, let's go back a little bit also, because then you, after Back to Basics record, how soon after that was Victory? What was the label that's
Striving for Togetherness?
Yeah, Striving for Togetherness was Signs of Change.
So that's a funny one. Signs of Change was Lost and Found. I sent
that's right, dude.
Toby, I was a big demo sender. I used to make demos. I remember it was $300 for like 500 demos. It was super cheap.
That was the thing back then.
And what I would do is I would sit in my room in Brooklyn, 14, 15, 16, and I would write letters to every record label. I'd write letters to pen pals. I wrote letters. I sent my demo to Lost and Found in Europe, and I said, hey, we're young kids. We play positive hardcore. If you're interested in you know, putting our demo out or 7-inch in Europe, we want to get our name out in Europe. This is just a handwritten letter. About 3 months later, I don't get any response. And someone says, hey, I saw your 7-inch in Europe. And I'm like, wait, what?
Dude.
And the next thing I know, the guy actually put the 7-inch out, never wrote me back, nothing, and was selling it in Europe. And it was and he called it Signs of Change. I didn't even call the name. He actually named the 7-inch. I didn't make that.
What the fuck? That's crazy,
so,
dude.
Shortly
I knew
after,
they were kind of scandalous, but that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, but the cool thing is I started getting letters from Europe about the 7-inch that I didn't know was out because kids were digging it. And I was like 15 when it came out. So they were like, Lost and Found was selling it in Europe and, you know, I guess marketing it, you know, young band, whatever. And that's how that record came out. Now, while that happened, I started, you know, from going to shows every week. At that time, mid-90s, District 9, VOD,
oh yeah,
Fahrenheit. It was a movement at Coney Island High going on. It was like a new generation. And
Still Suit.
Wow, dude. Big time. Six and Violence, all those bands. Roguish Armament. So Kevin Gill,
Love,
Kevin Gill was another guy. Sent him a demo. Yo, mad respect for the label. I'm 16 years old. Check out my band's demo. Called me immediately. I love it. Let's talk. I'll put out your EP. And I actually told him, I said, you know, our goal is to try to get on Revelation. Like that's my, like that was, dude, I sent Jordan Cooper probably like 30 handwritten letters. Never got a response. Didn't take it. I never took anything the wrong way. For me, it was like a long shot. Yeah. And my brother thought I was crazy. My brother Mike's like, you're really going for this. And I was handwriting letters, sending demos.
I love it. I love the passion.
One of the things I'd sent was to, one of the bands I loved was Uniform Choice.
Okay.
And Ignite just started, and Call on My Brothers came out, and it was like my favorite record.
So good.
So I looked on the back of the record. I sent Joe Foster a demo and a tape. Funny story, because he's coming later today. He became one of my lifelong friends. He wrote us back instantly. I got this letter from Huntington Beach. He's from the OC, and I was so excited. And he sent me like rare Ignite stuff, but in the letter he said, listen, I love you guys. I love what you're doing. He goes, we're touring the East Coast in a few months. He goes, I already told my agent, I want you on the whole thing. And it's like, I'm telling him like, man, we can't do that. We're in fucking high school. We can't tour. He wound up putting us on like we played like 9 shows on that tour. We did 2 long weekends with them, 16 years old.
Amazing, dude.
And he became like one of the biggest advocates for Shutdown. Joe Foster to this day is, you know, our new record. He's like our biggest supporter, you know, he'll be there later at the show. My first show in California in 1998, at the Showcase Theater, we pulled up and there were 2 people in the front when we were loading in. One was this kid who was 13 who had our Victory record with him and he wanted us to sign it. And the other one was Joe Foster waiting at the venue so he could give us a tour of LA.
That's crazy,
and
dude.
and Joe is like, you know, very influential for me. I mean, Screaming for Change is, well, he wasn't in that record, but Joe with Unity and all the bands he's been, No for an Answer, and
Hard.
dude, Joe is a legend, and
He is a legend.
he's a big time influence on the band. So that through writing letters, DIY, dude, organic. That's how I met everybody. And
crazy, man.
And then, you know, Striving for Togetherness put our EP out.
Yep.
That was 1996.
Yep.
Turning the Tide.
Turning the Tide.
Yep. And then we started playing PWAC in Long Island and started doing all these other things.
PWAC was incredible, man.
At that point, there was like a nice buzz for us. You know, it was like people knew we were going for it. We weren't just like one off. Like it was like, yo, these kids are really going for it. I think people really saw that. Our live shows were always full of energy. We didn't know how to play our instruments. It was just all jumping off the stage, bouncing around, true Youth Crew style.
Totally.
But we had heavy parts. That was our whole thing. We wanted to do a band where we took GB and Youth of Today and put it in a blender with Madball. That was like our.
That's a great analysis.
That was our thing. We didn't want to be a carbon copy of Judge or Youth of Today because bands did that and it just never worked. There was those bands could not be imitated.
They cannot, dude.
But
there were major influences for you guys.
But for us, yeah, it set it off for me in 1993. That was a record that was very influential for me. Like just everything about it, from the intro with the baby and dude, it gives me goosebumps talking about it. I tell Freddie all the time, and Freddie was also
it's a masterpiece, dude.
Talking about like somebody that took us under their wing. Like Freddie really, at probably like 98, 99, just like grabbed me by the arm and just said, I got you. Like, you know, anything you guys need, like I'll help you. He goes, Roger told me about you guys. I met them through Rabies. I met them through Rabies' death. Actually, I tell everybody the story. Rabies was our biggest supporter back then. And I met Rabies at a ska show. I was 15 and I had a girlfriend who was ska. She was ska girl, and she loved the Pie Tasters.
Sick.
And if you remember all the Wetlands ska shows.
Oh yeah.
So she said she made me go to a ska show, and I was straight edge. I had my backpack with my pins on it. I X'd up, and I'm at a ska show with her dressed in ska gear, and Rabies is working the door. And Rabies is the bouncer at the Wetlands. And Rabies sees me and he goes, what the fuck are you doing here, kid? He always called me kid. He goes, what the fuck are you doing here, kid? And I was like, oh, I'm with my girlfriend. You know, she's at the ska show. And he goes, yeah, you let her go. You're going to hang out with me. And she's like, I'm cool with it. She's like, if you want. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I'm going to hang out with Rabies from Warzone. So I had what did I have? I had 20 demos in my backpack.
Dude.
I gave him my demo. He looks at the demo. He goes, how old are you guys? I go, 16. He goes, dude. He goes, I can't wait to hear this. My number was on the demo. I hung out with him the whole night. Next day, he calls me at my mom's house. He tells my mom Rabies is on the phone. My mother is like freaked out. My mother's like, what? There's a grown man named Rabies calling from Mark.
I love this
and
shit.
My brother Mike is home. And Mike goes, did you say Rabies? My brother's like, you know, he doesn't know Rabies at this point, but he loves Warzone. Don't Forget the Struggle's like my brother's favorite record.
Great record.
And he's like, holy shit. He's like, and I told my brother the story, and he's like, Mom, don't worry. So I talked to him. Dude, we talked for like 4 hours on my parents' phone.
Really?
And like life, like we talked life, like where did I grow up? How did I grow up?
He loved the demo, yeah.
He would love the demo. And he said, look, we're going on tour with the business. They just signed to Victory. Tour, they did Europe and America. It was like a 6-month tour they did with the business. Yeah. It was insane. And he said, look, anything you want to do on the tour, I want you to look at all the dates and you could pick the dates you could play. Of course, we could only play like the Northeast shows because we weren't even old enough to drive.
Yeah.
So he got us on like 2 full weekends. We played 8 shows with the business in Warzone, and like sick, Boston, dude. Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Jersey, you know, like all banger shows. And we hung out with Mickey Fitz and Rabies the whole time. We were straight edge 16-year-old kids.
Bro, it's amazing.
And Rabies and Mickey Fitz were like really close. And every night they would just like, dude, they were like mentors for us. Like I can remember those memories like they were yesterday. It was such a positive vibe.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy.
Your brothers were stoked for you too.
My brothers were stoked for me. Dude. My brothers were really stoked for me. So now Rabies is like full-fledged, like supporter of Shutdown. He's introducing me to Steve Pass, to Jimmy Gestapo. And then that time was really short with him. Like I only had a friendship with him for 2 years because he died in, September 11th, 97.
Yep.
So when he died, I remember Pass calling me and he's like, obviously we want you guys to play the tribute show. He's like, you were his favorite new band. And sick. You guys played the week before.
Yeah.
It was 2 weekends in a row.
Yep.
You guys did the first weekend.
Yep.
And I think you guys, it was Agnostic Front, Murphy's Law. You guys, Madball.
Yeah.
Second weekend was Bouncing Souls, GB, Shutdown, Sick of It All. And Rejuvenate.
Bro.
And that was actually Civ played, and that was the show GB hopped on, and kid got paralyzed at that show, if you remember.
Oh yeah, the benefit show.
Yes.
Fuck, dude.
And I have the shirt still from the show.
Me too.
That show changed that show changed the game for us, because at that show, after the show, all the Victory people were there, the Victory Records, and one of the
Tony and them were all there. Wow,
everybody. So
that's right.
the A&R guy, John Regan.
I remember John Regan.
Yeah,
Holy shit,
he came up to us and he said, you know, I want to let you guys know that for the last year, Rabies was in our office every day on tour. They recorded their record in Chicago. They would stop in Chicago. Rabies would fly out to Chicago. He was very close with Tony.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to let you guys know that for like the last year, all this guy says to Tony is to sign Shutdown. And Tony really, you know, he would listen, but, you know, we have so much other stuff going on. He goes, I think it's safe to say, you know, in his passing, I think the time is right now, you know, so here's my card. Are you guys 18? Do you need parents? Because I want to meet with you guys this week. I'm in town for the week. He's like, I want to get this done as quick as possible. So, you know, we're like, now we're just
That's
like
crazy, dude.
I mean, like, so in Rabies' death, he's like hooking us up still, like, you know, in his passing. And it just felt natural, you know, and at that point I looked at the guys, I'm like, this is it. I'm like, this is our opportunity. Victory was the #1 label at that time. Strife, Snapcase, Earth Crisis. So natural progression to be able to come out and do it with, you know, Victory. I mean, it was the perfect label for us to be able to do it almost in tribute to Rabies and Warzone.
Yeah.
So that's how that started. That was 97. That was October 97. I always tell people, like, we didn't know what to do. They gave us a 50-page contract.
Fuck.
They wanted to sign us for 9 records. So
What?
I went to Freddie and Roger.
Yes.
And that was who after when Rabies died, his funeral was in Riverdale in the Bronx. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there too. And I met all these people. I tell people this, and it's a true story. Like, if you've ever seen the movie A Bronx Tale, when Colangelo goes to the funeral and all the older guys say, don't worry, we got your back. That's what happened to me. I was 17, and, you know, Jimmy G came up to me. Freddie came up to me. There was pictures of me. Remember they had the big kind of like tribute to Rabies with all the old pictures of him?
Yeah.
There was 2 or 3 pictures of me and him in there. He loved me, dude. He was like, I would say he was like my dad in hardcore. He was like my dad.
Crazy,
like,
man.
he literally, we played some out of town shows. He was like always trying to do things funny with me. Like, always, like, he would go up to girls and like try to hook me up with girls. It was just really funny. Like, I have so many great stories with him, dude. And
how old was he when he died? I was always wondering.
36.
Yeah, 36. Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
It was just horrible.
So young, man.
Too young, you know. And he was recording in Chicago, got sick. They stuck him in a horrible VA hospital because, you know, he had that insurance because he was a Marine or something when
What
he
was
was like
the last
18.
record for them? Sounds of Revolution?
Sound of Revolution, yeah.
Great record too.
Great
man.
record.
Fuck.
Fucking great record.
I do kind of remember too that, like, I feel like a lot of people kind of took Warzone for granted towards the end. They played a lot in New York, and so like
They were touring heavy.
touring heavy. So like they were playing all the time. And I think people were kind of like, oh, they're playing again. Like, they only really like.
I think when he died, they started. It's like, why didn't you appreciate him when they like was alive type of thing? You know, it Sound of Revolution. But when he died, people started getting on that Warzone tip again, which was it was cool to see. But it was like
to lots of people when they pass.
It does. But Rabies was really influential for kids. Like, for me specifically, he was, don't do drugs, don't listen to these there's some knuckleheads in the hardcore scene. I want you to stay away from them. He actually schooled me like that. Like, he was like, stay away from this guy, stay away from that guy. These guys are cool. These are my family. Roger's my family. Jimmy's my family. Freddie's my family.
Yeah.
Gravitate towards these guys. So when he died, they took us under their wing. I remember Roger called me at my house, and Roger said, listen, you guys are not going to get lost in the shuffle now that, you know, I know you're doing the record deal. Who's handling your contract? And I said, Roger, I don't even know where to start with it. And he said, take this number. This guy, Dave Stein.
Best. Rest in peace, Dave Stein.
Rest in peace, the best. And
Best.
Dave was working for like a big law firm back then. He was like doing Echo and the Bunnymen and stuff.
Yeah.
And we met Dave. Dave thought it was awesome. Dave's like, I love this. He loved that we were kids. Dave loved that we were kids. And he was like, listen, who's 18, who's not? Because your parents have to sign the contract if you're not 18. It was actually really funny. And we went to this big law firm that he worked at. Like, dude, we were like,
I remember the big spot. I forgot what it was called though, man. He was such a punk, like a legend, like hardcore punk.
Dude,
you know,
legend.
Albany style, fucking. Dude.
Oh, R.I.P. Dave.
Such a lawyer from Jump too, man. The best. Dude.
What a great fucking person. Animal lover.
Yeah. Dude.
So Dave knocked the contract down. Instead of 9 records, he got them to do 3.
Okay.
Which was like, that was a win. Like,
totally,
you know, and at the same time, I'm like, dude, we're gonna put 3 records out on Victory. Fuck yeah, you know.
Sick.
At that time, it was great, but 9 was like overwhelming.
That's a major label shit.
Major label shit. It was a real contract. So we signed it. Immediately got put in the studio in January. Tony Victory's like, you know, we need a good producer for the record. You know, at that time, Jimmy G put out a Japanese comp that we were on.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it.
Too,
I think you guys are on it.
Yeah.
So we did one song with him. When we recorded, he loved us. He loved that we were straight edge. And it was like, dude, it was so funny. He was like talking about eucalyptus bongs and like all these funny outtakes and recordings. So we hit it off with him. We met him through Steve Pass.
Okay.
With Creepy Crawl. So we had so much fun with him. We said to Tony, we're like, what if Jimmy produces it? He's like,
fuck, I didn't know this.
So Jimmy produced Against All Odds.
No way, dude.
And we only had 4 songs written. And we told him, and we're like, dude, we don't know what to do. And Tony's like, it'll all come together in the studio. Don't worry about it. He's like, do you have riffs? We're like, yeah, but we only have for new songs, we only have 4 new songs. We don't have a whole record with material.
Yeah.
Tony's like, look, I booked the studio for I think it was 4 weeks. We were locked in a studio for 4 weeks with Jimmy. Jimmy said, don't worry, I got you guys covered. He invited Craig Satari. He invited,
no way, dude.
I swear, true story. He invited all the Warzone guys, that were still living. And every New York hardcore guy you can imagine came to the studio and basically had an involvement in helping us write that record. They didn't write the record, but we'd have riffs. And they'd be like, change this, change that. Jimmy basically produced the record, full production. And
that's crazy, man.
I remember the studio we were in was a really cool studio. It was the woman who owned it was, I think she was... the guy who owned it was married to Jodie Foster, so it was in the middle of studio, and it was definitely.
Where's the studio at?
It was Midtown.
Okay.
I want to say it's not there anymore. Can't remember the name of it.
That's crazy. People smoking in there, chilling in there.
Oh, he was big time. They would come, they would roll their joints, and he'd be like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to blow it in the vocal booth." We have outtakes for 20 minutes at the end of Against All Odds, and it's all about Jimmy with jokes from the record. So the last song rolls for 25 minutes, and it's all outtakes.
That's amazing.
And he's like, don't worry, Mark, you're not going to get high. It's a eucalyptus bong.
Dude.
Funny stuff.
Crazy. Did he produce anything after that?
The studio, I don't think so.
No,
I don't
Jimmy
think
G produced anything.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I feel like that's his only thing. That's crazy.
It was actually funny because he was producing a band that we were all straight edge at that time. So it was
Were you happy with the way it turned out and everything?
I think looking back at it, Jimmy did a great job, but I think we weren't really great at playing.
Yeah.
So it was we listened to it and it's the rawest sounding thing you could ever hear. But when you think now in music, you listen to your first tape and your first demo.
Dude, yeah.
And I think kids liked it because we were so young. Every other band on Victory was very established. They were probably in their mid-20s, but we were teenagers.
Crazy,
so it was
dude.
to come out after Warzone where people knew we were kind of the spawn of Rabies, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were his kids. Everybody in New York hardcore, people referred to me as Rabies' kid. I would go to shows and he would take me and he would be with, Leslie at that time was his girlfriend.
I love that. She's the best.
I love Leslie. Shout out to Leslie. I'm still in touch with her. He would take me in front of CB's and he would grab me in a headlock and he'd introduce me to everybody and he would introduce me as his kid. He's like, this is my kid. This is my hardcore kid. Everybody knew me like that.
Crazy.
So
dude.
it was just his passing affected me deeply. It was
it's like losing a father figure.
It really was.
Yeah,
it really was. I cried for months. Like I said, I was at his funeral. We were there together and we just didn't meet. But I had to have somebody drive me to the funeral. I was too young to drive, and it was so far from Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, Riverdale.
It's the first time losing somebody too.
Dude, first time.
Somebody died in your life. You're so young.
First time. And it was very impactful. And then to think that a month
Even for
later.
me, it was older, just at first, somebody from the scene who was so important, to pass away. It's it was our Elvis, somebody dying from our world. You know what I mean? That was crazy.
It shook me. It shook me. And then to think the way he impacted me, a month after he died, I have, Victory Records, my bucket list label that I'm sending I had sent demos to them just like Revelation, yo, sign my band. I never heard back from them. Then all of a sudden he died, and then they're at the show at CB's, the tribute show,
it's crazy,
and
bro.
that show was bonkers for us. It was it was just oversold and kids flipping off the stage, and there's videos of it. It's awesome. That was one of our best shows.
It was a great show, man.
It was a really memorable show. You could feel his spirit in that show.
Yeah.
And remember the line around the block from CB's? You just get, when I rolled up and saw that line, it would just give me goosebumps.
It was fucking nuts,
and
man.
to think I was a part of that, it's just I'm really thankful for it, But Rabies changed the trajectory of the band. We wouldn't have toured. We wouldn't have been signed to Victory. He literally is responsible for all that, even in his death.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
So then when the record comes out, is that a big record for you guys at that point?
It came out so we recorded in January 98, came out immediately in March 25th, 98.
Yeah.
Victory was very upfront about us. Look, we expect you guys to be on the road as much as possible. And we were like, okay. And at that point, 2 guys were just finished high school. I was finishing high school. Dion was finishing high school.
That's crazy. Everything you put out leading up, you're still in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we bought a van. And
with your tour support, whatever money.
Tour support, whatever. Yeah, it was a small advance and a shitty cargo van. And we built, gutted it, put a layer of egg crates and a piece of plywood in the middle, put all the equipment underneath. 2 guys slept on the top and 2 guys rode in the front. And we had room for 1 roadie who just basically stayed in the middle of the van.
Damn.
And April 98, we went on a full 6-week U.S. tour. We were supposed to do it with Culture from Florida.
I remember them, yeah.
And first show was at Wetlands. It was our record release show. Indecision played, of course. Inhuman, my brother's band, played.
Yep.
Tony Stark played, and Fahrenheit played. And that show was sold out, pre-sold out. It's our record release show for Against All Odds. That was the first show of a 6-week tour. Culture broke down from Florida on the way to the show,
Dude.
and we had to do the whole tour by ourselves. So for 6 weeks, we toured the U.S. First U.S. tour. We only toured the East Coast before. 6 weeks, maybe 2 days off. One guy with us who was 20 years old. He was like the Brian Shank. He was like a guy that always rolled with us back then. And
he was the adult.
Yeah. He like that was just the 5 of us, and we toured and did a full circle in the country. And I remember our first show in California, like I had mentioned, Joe Foster was Showcase Theater.
Yeah.
We pulled
Great
up
spot,
and
too.
Cali really accepted us like early, like against all odds, like from the first show in Cali, kids were singing the words stage diving, like it blew us away.
That's
Obviously
sick.
when you're on tour in the Midwest and hit or miss, middle of the week, you're playing,
Totally.
I remember playing Cheyenne, Wyoming on a Wednesday night, in front of 3 kids. I played Albuquerque, New Mexico on a Tuesday night in front of 10 kids. It's rough, man.
It is, dude.
People think it's all glory when you're on the road. I mean, it's really rough.
Yeah.
Mentally too, at
Hit or
18,
miss too.
I had a girlfriend, and it was just like I'm on payphones calling her, and and then the first week she's supportive, but by the second week it's like, oh, when are you coming home? And
Yeah.
there were no cell phones, so it was like payphones. So it was like I had to go get a calling card and a payphone and call at that time my girlfriend, and just from every city, and then of course there were breakups with guys and girlfriends, and we're dealing with all this mental stuff like on the road, like trying to
Sure, dude.
but at the same time we were very focused on like the mission at hand, which was just to like blast Against All Odds, our first record, to like the masses, play as many places as we can. Victory hooked us up with a booking agent. We got to go.
Who was booking you guys?
At that time, it was a girl named, what was her name? She has an agency now where she books like major indie artists.
Oh, really?
But it's funny because I forgot her name and someone sent it to me. I tried to say her name was Dana. She booked a lot of the younger bands, and then after that we had John Finberg, which was that was probably the worst thing we ever did, but we got big opportunities from it. A lot of times back then, Toby, we were like told what to do more than decided what to do.
Yeah.
Victory would call us and say, you guys don't know how this goes. Go with this person. Go with that person. And we never put up a front. Like, we're like, okay, anything you guys say. Like,
Damn.
we really didn't. Like, we were just thankful. We were so thankful to be there.
Yeah.
That we were like,
so
okay.
Finberg got you some good gigs. And
He did. We did a U.S. tour with Hatebreed off Satisfaction. That was
Perfect.
That was like their biggest record right then.
Totally, yeah.
They came off Warped Tour with like Kid Rock and headlined a 6-week U.S. tour off that summer and took us. We were the main. It was us and Will Haven.
Crazy,
And we were
man.
main support. So
That's great, dude.
Will Haven dropped off the tour. Back then it was like you did these tours and bands sometimes they played one show and they couldn't do the rest of the tour. So it was just wound up being just us and Hatebreed for 6 weeks.
How was the crowd for you guys? Good?
Absolutely insane. Like Hatebreed, that tour was memorable. Started in Sacramento. We had to drive from Brooklyn to Sacramento. They finished Warped Tour and then started a full US tour the day after.
Savages, dude.
They were savages, and that record was really big.
Blown.
So
Yeah, dude.
every show,
They toured for like a couple years on that album.
years. So
yeah.
every show was like, we had never played a tour where like every show was like nearly sold out, if not sold out every night. And we were playing like, at that point, Hatebreed wasn't playing big venues. So we were like 350, 500 venues and sold out every night. Sold tons of merch. I think it was the first time like we broke even on a tour.
Damn, dude.
And then Victory, everything just started from there because the record came out. So we had already done, that was our second US tour in 3 months. From
Damn,
the
on
record coming out.
Yeah.
Came home for a week and then did another headlining US tour, took my brother's band and Human out. Came home for another week, we did 4 US tours in 6 months. The fourth one was with Catch 22. Victory put us on a ska tour. They wanted to expand this, like, we wanted to put you with Hatebreed, but you guys are young and positive. I think you guys could break in with punk crowds, ska crowds, and hardcore crowds. Because we had this message where this vibe we had where it was like we were so young. Our music was so positive that it was like the Hatebreed kids embraced us, believe it or not. They were really cool to us because we have breakdowns in our songs.
Totally.
So having those breakdowns, it was like the kids wait for those breakdowns and go nuts.
Yeah.
Catch 22, same thing. It was on a different vibe. Ska band, packed house every night with their first record, Keys Be Nights, was very big on Victory.
Mm-hmm.
And we play for ska kids, and they really embraced the punk side of Shutdown. We had melodies in our songs and they thought that was cool. Songs about unity. Like, these kids are all about it,
Yeah.
We were always about having fun. We never secluded people. We weren't like a hardline straight edge band or anything like that. It was more like just come to a Shutdown show.
Straight edge too?
3 out of 4 at that time.
Okay.
So we decided to just kind of like everybody, all inclusive, like, no, we don't shut anybody out. That was like part of our message. So it was like, hey, you have a beer, you have a joint in your hand, we don't care, man. If you like the music, that's what all that matters to us is the authenticity.
Yeah. That's great. So Catch 22, Hatebreed.
2 headlining tours. That was in 6 months. So the record came out in March. By October, we did 4 US tours.
And you feel like you guys are getting bigger at that time?
We're growing. Organically now, like the shows are getting bigger. The last headlining tour, the venues got bigger. We were taking bands out, but we still were looking for support tours as kids because we knew that like to get to the next level, we needed to get we needed more support tours.
Yeah.
So that was the objective behind a booking agent.
Where'd you guys headline New York at that point?
Wetlands.
Yeah.
We headlined CB's a couple times.
Yeah.
And then we would do, obviously, like we'd go play my brother's club, Castle Heights in Queens. Wetlands, I felt like was our home base.
Yeah.
We had like two or three headlining sold out shows at Wetlands. We headlined multiple shows at Coney Island High. Home 33. We played
Home 33. That's right.
Yeah, Breakdown, No Redeeming. We played a lot of shows with No Redeeming, Social Value back then.
Great band too. It never gets mentioned as well. Man.
Great live band.
Yeah.
Great.
Dude.
Shout out to Dean.
They're still playing too, right?
Yeah, kind of like, when they get asked to play, they're down to play. Kind of like, there's a lot of bands from that generation. Shutdown, Kill Your Idols, No Redeeming, Social Value.
Love Kill Your Idols.
From New York hardcore, like we're going to play when kids want to see us, right?
Yeah.
But now we're writing new music. It's a whole different story for Shutdown. We're like, we have a new record out. We're touring. We're doing regional dates. So kind of back in the mix again, which is really nice.
Yeah, so then after that, you got Few and Far Between. That's the second Victory record, right?
Right. We actually had an EP come out right before that on Victory.
So these count as 3?
Yeah, that actually counted as 3. Dave said, put the EP out. That's going to count as your third release. Don't worry, I'll work it out. So we did a pre-second LP EP called Something to Prove.
Fuck.
That came out in February.
Oh, that's right, Something to Prove, yeah. We got nothing to prove.
Yeah, and then what's funny, and then we recorded that in Chicago, and the guy from Smashing Pumpkins studio. The guitar player from Smashing Pumpkins owned the studio. Tony set us up, and everything we had to do. Like that was one thing back then. Like it was like, again, we were kind of told what to do. We didn't put up there was no resistance.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring you to Chicago. We're gonna put you in the studio.
Sure.
Put a 4-song EP. At that point, Victory was doing a lot of EPs. Blood for Blood EP was big with them. Snapcase EP, Steps. So Victory had this like playbook where it was like in between your LPs, we're going to do an EP, It was all marketing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Organic marketing.
Though.
So we toured when the EP came out January. We got a support tour with Harley in Paris, Cro-Mags with Rocky George. Wow. And it was Shutdown, All Out War, Cro-Mags, 6 weeks across the States.
Dude, that's
and that
crazy.
Yeah. And we
How was that?
Insane. The stories
everybody
I have.
Got along, everything was good.
I mean, everybody.
Wild shows.
So by the end of
Were they big shows?
So it's funny, like we played House of Blues, we played the Fillmore, we played
Sick.
The venues were 1,000 and up. Sometimes they were half full, sometimes they were sold out. Damn. It was definitely a tour to remember. I will tell you this, Harley almost murdered me in Kansas. We became very
with the Outhouse.
What was the bottleneck?
Bottleneck. Yeah.
So it's a great story because we became very good friends at the end of the tour. So I say this in a positive.
Yeah.
He didn't know me, and I was a kid, and Harley was in his 30s, and I was the kid in the band on opening for his band, and I was, of course, Cro-Mags were legends to us,
Totally.
And even listen. Watching Harley and Paris play, like these guys, they really got it, man. Like there's magic there, and watching Harley play those songs, it's regardless of people's opinions on him. Like the guy is definitely legendary for New York hardcore. And there was a sound check going on in Kansas. It's a great story. And we pulled up to the venue for load-in, and Harley sound checking. He's got his shirt off and his bass on. He's got his whole thing out. So when we pulled up, maybe 4-5 shows into the tour, we didn't really know him. He didn't know us yet. We didn't bond yet. All Out War was like a brother band. We were on Victory together.
Okay.
So we pull up to the venue, and he's sound checking, and he's on the mic, and he goes, "Yo, what's up?" He called me Little Man. He used to call me Little Man, which is funny because we're both short, but he used to call me Little Man. So he goes, "Yo, what's up, Little Man?" I didn't think much of it, right? Then I go, "Yo, what's up, old man?" I didn't think anything, like just rolled off the tongue, right? He said on the mic while he's sound checking, he goes, "What the fuck did you just say?" And he goes, I was like, "Oh, you call me Little Man, I call you Old Man, no big deal." He takes off his bass, throws it on the floor, jumps off the stage, grabs me by the neck.
No way.
Pins me to the wall. My face is turning purple. He goes, "Motherfucker, do you know Mr. HR of the Bad Brains himself would not approve of you disrespecting these OG hardcore people like myself?" Word for word what he said.
What?
My face is turning purple. Everyone's trying to pull him off me. He basically like snapped. And
how old was he? 30s?
Mid 30s, low 30s.
This is
and
crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm 19, and Mike Score.
Shook? Were you freaking out?
Beyond shook. My face turned purple. I thought he was gonna kill me, but he was like really intimidating me, and pinned me right against the wall with my neck. And at that, he goes, "Don't ever disrespect me again, motherfucker. Know your roots." And I didn't mean anything by it, dude. I didn't mean any disrespect. So it was a weird show, right? And the Mike Score and the All Out War guys, this is a true story. So Mike Score and the All Out War guys are like, "Yo," the rest of the night they're calling me Little Man, like on purpose, like just to try to stir the pot. And they're like, and listen, two of the guys in my band were like, "Dude, what the fuck were you thinking?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't mean anything by it. Like he called me Little Man, I called him Old Man." They knew like I didn't mean. So the whole night,
Ball breaking, bro.
they're like, but All Out War and the guys in my band are like, stay away from him. Like, he snapped, stay away. Paris is apologizing to me. The tour manager's apologized to me. Like, just stay away from
5 days
it'll
in?
blow over.
Fuck.
Yeah, in Kansas. So, and it was 6-week tour, no days off.
Bro.
6 weeks, swear to God. And he said, it was so funny because I stayed away from the whole night. They play the show. At the end of the show, he's in the back room and the tour manager goes, yo, Harley wants to talk to you. And I was like, and then Steve in my band goes, don't go in there. Please don't go in there. And I was like, and he's like, no, it's cool. He's like, I think he's going to apologize. Like, everything, go in there, talk to him, So I go in there and Harley's like rolling a big blunt. I'm straight edge. And he's like, little man, come here, man. Come here, sit down. And I sat down with him and he said, listen, he goes, you got to understand something. He goes, I'm fucked up in the head. He goes, I'm truly fucked up in the head. He goes, I feel terrible. I snapped. He goes, I think I took you the wrong way. He's like, everybody explained to me like you didn't mean anything by it. He goes, I think he even said, I'm just a knucklehead from New York City. He goes, I snapped. I took it the wrong way. He goes, what can I do to make this up to you? He goes, I feel terrible. He goes, come here, give me a hug. He goes, you want a blunt? I was like, no, man, I don't smoke. And he's like, all right. He goes, the rest of this tour, I promise you. He goes, I'm going to make it up to you. And I was like, and at that point, he gave me this big emotional hug, literally like me and him like hugging it out. And he's like, I promise you, I got your back the rest of the story. He goes, but just for the record, he goes, just show a little respect, to the people that came before you. And I was like, Toby, I said to him, Harley, I didn't mean anything by it. I said, I swear, I was like, I got nothing but respect. I was like, this is a dream tour for me. You know what I mean? And he knew that I was being true to myself.
Yeah.
And he felt bad. Rest of the tour, he was the nicest, sweetest man I've ever met. Like, literally, like,
Holy
the
shit,
next
it's a great
day,
story.
what do you need? Anything you need, we got you. We played some really great venues on that tour. Like I said, House of Blues in Chicago was definitely a great memory. Played multiple House of Blues on that tour.
Yeah, that was the thing back then.
There was a couple of incidences Harley didn't have. He had some pockets of places like San Francisco that he had some beef.
Okay.
Some dude showed up to the show with some guns and knives. And
that was that legendary thing back then?
I played that show.
Wow.
So
dude.
dudes who, some dudes.
Say no names. I know.
Yeah, friends of ours.
Wow.
So had beef with him and, showed up to the venue pre-show for load-in, fully armed.
Can't be on that tour, dude.
And,
about
came right up to our van hard and we're like, where is he? Is he in the van? We're like, dude, we're shut down. Like, oh my God, no, we almost busted the tires in your van. They were coming from big time. He gets up on stage that night in an orange jumpsuit, like fresh out of jail jumpsuit. I don't know where he got it. And he stands up and puts the middle finger, and there's about 1,000 kids there. And he says, any of you motherfuckers that are here to get me, I'm right here. Come on stage and get me, motherfuckers. I'm not afraid of anybody. About 2 songs in, a riot happens at the show. Dudes start getting thrown through glass murals in the back at the Fillmore in San Francisco. And cops came, busted the show up.
Is anybody bum rushed on the stage from it all or no?
Big time. He split. Nobody fought him. They took out his tires, slashed his tires. They almost got All Out War's van by accident because we all had New York plates.
Jesus, dude.
Probably one of the most fucking dangerous scenes I've been. Like, I legit saw dudes with like armed, looking like it was really wild. Sketchy as fuck, but
that's
crazy.
Crazy.
I have to say,
it's
like,
a legendary story.
Legendary story. And I was there and I witnessed the whole thing. Rest of the tour was pretty quiet, drama wise. He, played some great venues. It was very hit or miss. Some shows told me there was 1,000 kids. Some shows there was 200 kids, but every show was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was his
package.
Sick package. And All Out War was like, again, our brother band. So we had some really great memories. Last show of that tour was Bowery Ballroom in New York. And it was a little awkward because there was like Team Harley, Team JJ type stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it was still packed. I remember his girlfriend at the time came to tour, Bob Riley's sister, Stacy, and they came and he was introducing me to her and he was in the back room and just telling her how, he feels like, he'll forever take me under his wing for the tour. And he remembered that story. Of course, he still feels guilty. Like, if I bring it up to him to this day, he'll never live that down.
When's the last time we saw him?
It's been at least 15 years.
Yeah.
He reached out to me.
Remember you for sure.
Oh no, he reached out to me when he was writing the book. This is before the incident that happened at Webster Hall. And he asked me to write a chapter in the book about that story. And about 2 weeks later,
you getting choked out by him, you mean?
Correct.
Wow.
And about 2 weeks later, the incident at Webster Hall happened, and I just stayed away. I didn't say anything bad, good. I just I didn't want to be involved in any, any mess. So I just stayed away. Like, I didn't tell him I wouldn't do it. He probably forgot he even asked me. He's like kind of like that. Like, he sent me a message on Facebook, private message. Like, he probably forgot. I actually regret it because I feel like that would have been a great story for his book.
It's a great story. Holy shit! You told it on the podcast. It's crazy,
dude. Real,
I never knew that story.
Yeah, man. It's a really cool story, but a really crazy story that I'll forever etched in my memory.
How old are you then?
that was 99, 2000. I was 19.
Fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's being choked up like one of your heroes.
Dude,
it's
crazy.
dude.
And then just the friendship to form after, like,
Yeah,
honestly,
it's
like
amazing,
he was,
yeah.
I got to tell you, like, he was really cool to us, like the rest of the tour. Our hospitality is your hospitality. Anything you guys need, you know, introducing us to people, like and the rest of the guys were really, like, he had G-Man playing drums for him.
You knew you were in the singing the band because only 5 days in, you already knew who you were when that happened?
Yeah, no, he
Okay,
knew.
okay.
I was, listen, I always had a reputation for looking younger than I was. So it was like, and I was short. So it was like, you know, people knew us as like
Is he much
really
taller
young kids.
than you?
Not at all. We're the
Yeah.
same height. He's just more jacked.
Yeah, it's Jack. He's in insane shape, dude.
But listen, you know, people get their life together. I support people when they're doing good things. You know, I watched this guy. He raised his kids. I know he's had some problems in the scene, but it's nice to see
Killing
people.
it, dude.
It's really nice to see someone turn their life
with Danzig, bro.
to turn their life around. Honestly, like I
Yeah.
cannot think that that's a cool thing. Like
Yeah.
and what he's done for New York hardcore, it can't be denied. It just
He's
can't.
a legend, dude.
Can't be
He's a
denied.
legend. He's part of the whole entire
So-
blueprint to all of it, dude. He's
100%.
Triple OG, man.
Like even hearing him, like, you know, in the sound checks, like play Malfunction or, you know,
That's sick.
all those songs, like dude, it was like goosebumps every night, you
Yeah.
know, like he's got it. He's got
you
on
can't
stage.
deny he's a legend and his importance from the scene.
Totally.
And what he's contributed and what he started and was part of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the other guys were really cool too. Rocky George did part of that tour. You know, Paris obviously, you know, was on that tour and
Yeah.
G-Man played drums. So G-Man was Gary, you know, he's done a lot of stuff since. I think he played in the later versions of the Cro-Mags, but he's really good guy. And that tour, like the three bands bonded, no days off, 6 weeks.
That's gnarly. How's your voice? You lose your voice on the tour, or whatever? or no?
Multiple times. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But you know how it is in hardcore, you just wing it. You know?
Did you ever do vocal warm ups on tour and stuff? Or no?
I started doing the Melissa Cross warm-ups like
It's the best.
4 or 5 years ago.
It's the best.
When we were recording
Game changer.
I wanted the new stuff to be more melodic, and Jerry Farley, our producer and longtime friend, he was like telling me about Melissa Cross. He produced the last 2 Sick of It All records.
Okay.
He was telling me how Lou used the tapes, and
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
I
"Your
got Lou
vo-"
to go there actually. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So
Screaming in Zen.
you know, he hooked me up with like the warm-ups, and we started doing them during the recording process, and it
Bastard.
was a game changer. I wound up
Use
touring
them now on tour.
I use it last night. I use
Yeah,
it
me
every
too.
night. I have it on
fucking-
my
yeah,
phone.
I'm psyched.
The band before me goes on, and I go to the van, and I sit
Same.
in the van, and I do the warm-ups.
Same.
It's about 15 minutes.
Yep.
And when I tell you, even on a day like today where I'm a little hoarse, because we, you know, one thing that she gets across in all her, you know, lessons is sleep is so important.
100%.
So when you're on the road, like last night, we didn't sleep that good. And it's like, you know, you're more hoarse on the days where you don't sleep that good.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
so it's like, I'll either take a little nap before the show, or when I do the warm-ups, even on a day when I'm hoarse, like today, it's the last show of the tour, like just kind of like balls to the wall type thing. I do the warm-ups and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Toured Europe last summer. We did like 15 shows in a row. Didn't lose my voice
A lot of
once
it's
doing the
mental,
warm-ups.
too. Sleep and mental, and get your head about it too, like your voice. Because sometimes your talking voice can be hoarse, but your singing voice till it comes a different place.
100%.
2 different places, you know.
And I wanted to make sure with the new stuff, because a lot of it is melodic, and I do sing a little bit on it more than I've ever done. So I wanted to make sure that like it sounded right live. So it's important. Like that warm-up tape for me is life. Like it's
Yeah,
a
I
part of my
love it,
routine.
dude.
Like the way I take my AG1 in the morning, I do my warm-ups for shows.
Yeah. Unfortunately, mine's so old that it's on an old iPod, and I can't get it off my iPod to my phone. So I bring my old school iPod and I have the plug-in headphones.
That's
whatever.
funny.
But that's all. It's on there. It's the Hazen Street warm-ups we did 2004. They're custom for our voices or whatever. It's fucking sick. I
The
love Melissa Cross.
ZZZ and all that stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that
Hey,
shit.
hey.
It's great though,
Miggy
man.
Monkey.
Also chewing gum. I love chewing gum on stage. Is something I used.
That's funny
I
because
took it from
Zoli
Dave
from
Grohl.
Ignite, we toured with Ignite in Europe and Agnostic Front in 99 and or
You were doing it
2000.
too back then?
Zoli was doing Bubblicious on stage,
dude.
and Zoli said Bubblicious is like you want to keep your vocal cords lubricated while you sing.
Totally.
So this guy sang with a Bubblicious gum
Yeah.
in his mouth on tour with us in Ignite, and you know Zoli can hit some high notes.
Insane.
So
bro.
it was pretty wild that like then it turned into Hall's menthol he did, and then so I took that from him and I did that for years in the early 2000s, and now it's Melissa Cross. I don't need anything except my warm-ups before the show.
Yeah, she's the best. But I copied Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl was doing bazooka gum or something on stage, but
I didn't
he
know
doesn't
that.
jump around like me and you do. It's different.
Right.
We can choke on that shit.
Yeah, no, I
And
couldn't
I
do
spit it out in
bazooka.
somebody's beard before it got stuck in this dude's beard in Boston. Because it's dangerous to jump around like that. So what are you doing between the gap from the end of when you guys end in 2001 until now when By Your Side comes out, the EP? You just been working. Like, what is your job? Like, what do you do?
Starting a family. I mean,
Yeah, you got a serious
mid
family.
mid 2000s. I bounced around a little bit. For the last 10 years, I've been a recruiter. I work from home, so
Okay.
like I work for a private company in New Jersey, and I hire people online. So like it's everybody in the company is a remote remote based, what they do is so credit card machines, like, they rip people off. So if you own a business and you have to take a payment and put it through a credit card processor, you can guarantee that you're going to get ripped off. So the company I work for is kind of cool. They actually audit those credit card processors and catch them with two hands in the cookie jar and get the money back for the business.
Holy shit.
And I hire people for them, like financial analysts that work to do the auditing of the statements. It's really cool. They do it for sports teams. They do it for musicians. They do it for...
Oh, that's sick, dude.
They do stuff to help protect businesses. So
I love that.
These credit card processors since the pandemic, even for bands on tour, when you put, you're using a little payment system, Square or whatever you use on your iPad, they're supposed to take 2%. But because people don't know to take pen to paper and do the math, sometimes they take 7, 8, 9%. So you're losing that money every time you take a credit card to take a payment for a t-shirt or merch, or a guy who owns a business, tattoo shop, pizza shop. They're losing all that money. So this company finds that money that they're taking. At that point, they have two choices. They could either give the merchant, the business owner, the money back, or the merchant could say, fuck you, I'm going to go use another processor. So they play fair. So we kind of take the hand out of the cookie jar. It's a really cool company, and I just hire people from home. I work from home. My schedule's wide open. I can tour. I can do what I want.
That's amazing.
Been with the company going on 8 years. I've hired, 70 people for them. Companies exploded recently.
Are you working on tour too?
No, I took the time off.
Okay.
They support this 100%. They think it's cool. They're from New Jersey. They live in Rumson, New Jersey.
Okay.
And they're really nice people. They actually animal lovers. They believe in like positivity. So when they understood what I did at first on the surface, it's like, oh, you're in a loud rock band.
Exactly.
But then they started going down the rabbit hole, and they're like, wow, you guys like really stood for something. And then I explained to them like we were a positive hardcore band, and they thought that was super cool. These people are very authentic people, Toby. They don't wear like fancy suits or care about money. They're like people that actually believe in the mission that they do to help businesses.
It's awesome.
They believe, and it's really cool. So they're called Merchant Advocate. I love helping people. Some guys in hardcore bands own businesses. I'm not in sales. I'm a recruiter, but I call them and I'm like, dude, let this company help you. They don't charge for their service. The way they make money is they take a piece of, if they find you money, they take a portion of it.
Okay.
So it's all new money.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's kind of cool. So I've been doing that for like 10 years. They're really supportive of the band. They think it's so cool. They know I'm on the West Coast now. They said, have a blast.
It's cool. You can work from home too. It's amazing.
Working from home, I wake up, do a lot of my job on LinkedIn, and I work within the hardcore scene. If you want to laugh, I have hired multiple people from the hardcore scene. My good friend, Lou Benavides, he's a old school merch guy.
Yeah, Lou, I know Lou.
Oh, you know Lou.
He's always on tour.
Of course.
Quicksand, a bunch of
one
people,
one of my best friends. So
he's even Staten Island?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
man,
his wife.
OG,
so I got his wife a job at the company. She's a financial analyst.
That's amazing. Dude. Shout out to Lou, dude. That guy's still on tour grinding, man. I always see him around.
I don't know if you know Xena Sarfin, Thorns and Xena. Xena was part of the hardcore scene. She's part of the New York underground metal scene. Okay. She works at my company. She worked at Marvel back in the day. Jeez. And it's a pretty cool story. When Shutdown signed to Victory, she got Marvel to do a comic book loosely based on me. And wow. I was like a kid going to high school who wore X's and was like a superhero.
What the fuck?
And
that's cool.
They put out a test press of it. It was called, it wasn't The Outsiders. It was called, it was a really cool name. I can't think of it right now. So she brought us to Marvel. I got to tour Marvel in Manhattan when we signed to Victory, all because she was part of the hardcore scene. She's from Brooklyn. She's friends with my brother. She works at Merchant Advocate. I got her a job. She's in marketing.
Wow.
So I like to hire people that I know. I'd much rather hire people from the hardcore scene that I know, for 20 years than find a stranger in a resume.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the company doesn't necessarily know that I do it that way. These people have been working for the company. Yeah, until now, until they learned this podcast. But
that's cool though.
Dude, it's pretty cool.
Family, yeah.
I love it. I love it. It also helps me, like, I maintain my friendships. Like, Lou is a really close friend to me now. In the last 5 years we've really become close. And it's just cool. His life has grown so much. He started out touring with like Glassjaw and bands like that. Now he's touring with like these like major artists.
I've seen that, dude.
It's a life for him.
I like how he gives like the hotel tours on his Instagram.
Dude, he's hilarious.
All the different rooms and what they have in the rooms and stuff.
Shout out to Lou, man. Love
you. Is he still
Lou.
In New York?
Yeah, he's in Staten Island. Him and his married to the woman that his girl Danny that I got a job. And
still in Shaolin.
Oh, crazy. Dude, they're married. They're starting a family, buying a house. God bless them.
Do you miss New York?
I do. I miss the people. I miss the food. I miss the people. I don't miss the traffic. I don't miss the smell. I don't miss what it's become now is very different than what you and I remember is not what it is now.
I miss walking around a lot of spots though.
Yeah, I do. I do miss walking around the city. I spent most of my teenage and early 20s. Like, I would just jump on the train, go with my friends in the city, hang out on St. Mark's Place, walk around the village, walk around the Lower East Side, go shopping. Yeah. That was a life, dude. But
it sounds like we're like just old dudes reminiscing, which we are, because we lived there during the incredible time for hip hop, for hardcore, for everything. The time we got to be there and being part of that scene was
I'm happy that we were
beautiful
there.
time, dude.
Dude, it was unreal. Like every day there was a show, something going on, something cool
Or a
happening.
hip hop show, or like a club, or Limelight, or Palladium, or something. Just like
Some great memories. I remember, you probably don't remember this, but I talk to you about this sometimes. When I was 15, and we were just meeting you guys, and we weren't on Victory yet, but I had a girl, the ska girl, the girl that I brought up. You invited us to your house with Moon, your apartment, which was across the street from like the police station.
yeah, we were on 4th Street. And
So we went there, and I was so psyched to go. And I remember opening it up, and the girl was like in love with your apartment because you guys had troll hair carpet.
yeah, we did.
And Moon had like this like troll obsession.
Yeah,
And I remember it so well. And I was there, and
that's crazy.
and we I don't know if you guys made us dinner or we just hung out there, and then we just stopped by to say hello.
That's
But it
amazing.
was like, that was an early memory with you.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, crazy.
Dude, we played a lot of shows together too, man.
A lot of shows. You guys put us on a lot back then. And we always wanted to play. Like, you guys were part of the New York hardcore scene like we were. So us being the younger kids, we got a lot of love from, H2O and all the older bands, like the Agnostic Fronts, the Mad Balls, the Crown of Thorns. It was nice, man. It was nice because we had our own thing going on. We weren't trying to do what any of you guys were doing, but we were all part of the same family.
Yeah, that's what I love about the hardcore scene in New York. Dysfunctional and crazy and wild, and all the legendary stories and the beefs and all that. It is a big fucking family. Everybody does look out for each other, man. It's like, the bootstrap thing we sing about is just pulling people up by their bootstraps and giving kids their first shows and taking people on tour, and it happened to us too,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We all started from somewhere. I remember when you guys did the video shoot on St. Mark's Place. I'm in that video.
Every video, it's right.
I'm in that video. I have my hoodie on. I'm wearing a Shutdown hoodie because I wanted to market Shutdown in it. I never wore my own shit, but like Striving
That's
for Togetherness
sick.
came out. We weren't on Victory. I was on SFT back then, and that was pre-Victory. And I was wearing my Shutdown hoodie. I never wear my own shit, but that video, I was like, I want Shutdown to be in the video.
That's so sick.
And
I
I'm
didn't fucking know that.
and I'm like very noticed in the video because like when I watch the video, I have a hoodie on and I'm like X'd up, and I'm like, you see me in the video like multiple times, like right after.
I'm gonna watch it again. That's crazy.
Oh,
dude,
dude, it's so funny, and
that was fun.
really long
Dave
day.
Stein was in there. He was our lawyer in there.
I think that's how we even got connected with you. I feel like it was through Dave Stein and Vaughn Lewis.
Oh, Vaughn Lewis
Vaughn-
the best.
Vaughn-
Management, Vaughn and Kenny, bro.
Dude, Vaughn and Kenny were very supportive of us as kids. Didn't manage us, but almost felt like it because Vaughn was like very influential for us. Vaughn was giving us guidance. He was really just great people. Vaughn and Kenny still to this day, they're like cream of the earth people.
Still killing it too, man.
Salt of the earth. Yeah, like just amazing people. Still killing it. Vaughn is someone even now, like if I ever need a favor, like Vaughn's got my back. You know, it's really cool.
His family, dude. He was just a guy taking photos at our shows, and we're like, "Yo, come on the road, take photos." Okay, be our tour manager. Okay, now be our manager. And then Kenny came in and was like, "Oh, I was supposed to go to be a lawyer." He quit that. I was like, then they started a management company. It was us, Crown of Thorns, Murphy's Law. Fucking crazy, bro.
Dude, I remember it well.
It's
And
so
I want to
crazy.
say now that Vaughn is probably responsible for connecting me with you. Honestly, like that could be how we got connected early on.
Probably, yeah.
Because Vaughn was real supportive of us when we were doing Coney Island High, Wetlands. And I feel like
He was connected to like a lot of the new bands as well. He paid attention.
Fahrenheit. And
Fahrenheit managed them too as well.
He had a deep connection with like SFT, so with VOD.
Oh yeah.
So we were on that roster. So like I mean, District 9. SFT was District 9, VOD, Fahrenheit, Shutdown, and who am I missing? I think that was pretty
Home
much
33?
Home 30.
maybe
I don't
not.
think they were on SFT.
Dude, it's cool seeing VOD. Just came back and did the show for Lou. They sounded amazing. I'm like,
Oh
fuck.
yeah.
I feel like VOD could come back and play some shows, man.
They were something like in our time that
Yeah.
they created something very special.
They did.
Definitely lightning in a bottle. Like kids really, I mean, the singing, they were a heavier version of Life of Agony when I first heard them to me. They were like,
That's a good point.
They were like almost because he sang,
Yeah.
but then he screamed, but his screams were
Sick.
crazy. Like he had the
Kind of
craziest
ahead of
scream
its time a
voice.
little bit for some of that scream shit. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like, yeah.
they were way ahead of their time.
Damn.
I love that 7-inch. Yes, still on
Yeah.
the VOD 7-inch. And then of course the first record on Roadrunner.
That was a big deal.
That was a really big deal, man. Elements, or I can't remember what it was called.
Did you guys play shows after you broke up, or did you guys reunite for the Sound of Revolution?
We played many
2000.
shows. Yeah, we
That
never.
was like a big thing coming back for 2019 for that festival.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2017, the Rabies Tompkins Square Park tribute was actually
Oh, you
probably.
did that? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was with Fireburn.
God, it was
Yeah, man.
2017. Holy shit. Before
Yeah,
the
man.
pandemic.
R.I.P. to Todd.
RIP to
R.I.P. to
Todd,
Vinny.
Dude.
That show kind of
so
started
many people
back.
since the past couple of years.
Oh, dude,
Crazy,
it's been
bro.
awful. But yeah, that's kind of why, like, with the new record, we really focused on like mental health,
Yeah.
autism awareness.
I watched
We
the
were
video.
trying
It's a great video. All the skaters in there. It's like it's in New York, obviously.
yeah, we filmed
That's
that
cool,
under the
man.
Manhattan Bridge.
It's sick.
And that one specifically was about suicide prevention, because we had a couple of friends that, like, in the last few years that, took their life, and guys, we didn't even know Toby. We didn't even know they were like struggling. It's really weird that the guys that do that and the girls that do that they don't show it.
I know.
So it's like when it happens, it hits you so hard if you know them, or it's like, wait, why didn't you come to me? I would have been there for you.
I know. It makes me sad that people feel like they can't reach out to talk to their friends about stuff like that. They keep it inside until it's too late, man. It's really sad.
In the case of that song, Dion, his aunt, his wife's aunt was, you couldn't see anything on the surface. And during the pandemic, I guess she was going through her own struggles, being kind of locked down, and she took her life, and it's very sad. And Dion came up with the concepts of the song because it impacted the family so much. He really, and as a teacher, Dion's an educator for 20 years. He actually works in a school for disabled kids in Staten Island.
Oh wow! That's
and
amazing.
yeah, he devoted his life to helping kids. That's what he's about. And he's
that.
21 years in, and he's going on a red eye tonight, and the kids count on him in this school. He works at a school in Staten Island where there's 300 severely disabled kids.
Wow,
and
man.
it's not an easy job.
No, man. Not at all.
And he's working at 8:00 tomorrow morning. He's on the red eye tonight.
It's
He does this because he
beautiful, dude.
loves it.
Yeah.
And he came up with the concept of the new record where he said, I really have time. He didn't have school. He wasn't teaching. Remember, kids were going to school remote for like a year.
Yeah.
So he was in his garage in his house in New Jersey, and he was like, I'm writing these songs about suicide prevention. And his son has autism spectrum disorder, as does my son. And he's like, I want to do something that maybe something we never tried before. I want to put this really meaningful melodic record out, and just see where it goes. We're just going to write songs and see where it goes. And I started doing vocal warm-ups, Melissa Cross warm-ups, and just trying to change it up a little.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the new record concept came about.
That's crazy, man. So that's like the first one's fucking.
But yeah, we played Revolution in Europe in 2019. That was probably a catalyst to us trying to do this, full force or somewhat full force again. To answer your question, in between 2003 and 2019 or 17, we never stopped playing. It was just sporadically. We would play bowl. We'd play the bowl. We played B&B Bowl. We played a couple of shows in New Jersey. We when we got asked to play,
With us too during the pandemic. That was weird. Remember?
2 nights.
That was crazy.
That was the bands were so
We
cool.
haven't played
though.
New York since then.
That's wild.
I'm gonna go back. We're playing this year.
My wife came
finally.
to that, and it was really cool.
That was a weird time though.
It was a weird time. Well, that was
Coming
like
out of the pandemic.
It was. You guys had 2 nights. I think you were celebrating 20 years.
Something. Yeah.
20 years of first record. Maybe it was 2021. Our second record, and that was a really fun time. Be Well, Cruel Hand.
It was just a weird time. People get hesitant. They can't come to shows or not come to shows. It was a weird time.
It was
Easy back.
Well,
the
if you remember,
pandemic,
like
dude.
it was a sold out show,
Both of them were, yeah.
but not everybody came that
No,
bought
they didn't.
tickets, and it was still a great show. But it was
a great
like
show.
me and you were like, wait, what the fuck? And it was
know.
people were afraid.
Come out,
They were like
man.
afraid to come. It was a very weird time.
Was
and
that 2022? 22. Okay, yeah.
No, 21.
21, dude.
So that was like right after, dude. October of 2021.
Somebody had to play. It was just so weird, like easing out into that world at that time.
It was my first trip to New York, and I remember with my wife, we went into a store, and they kicked us out of the store. Now I'm living in Florida,
Oh, it's way different there.
and we went to New York, and we're like, I wasn't prepared for how different it
It's
was.
strict and everything. Yeah.
And I remember looking for a juice place. I'm like big with cold pressed juices, and like I'm like looking for a juice, and they're everywhere in New York. And I go in, the guy's like, "Get out of my store." I'm like, "Dude, I'm just buying a juice." He's like, "I'm like, business is gonna get closed down if you're in here and somebody takes a picture." I literally just went in because I didn't have a mask on.
Oh shit!
But I'm
yeah.
playing the shows with you guys, and I'm like, I thought things were better in New York.
I know.
So
We live in our bubbles. It's so different.
it was so different, Toby. So it was like going up there. I was really happy with that weekend because my wife got to experience meeting everybody in the hardcore scene. She came to the Rabies benefit and saw us for the first time in 2017. But when she met Brian from Battery and and the Fahrenheit guys, like my wife's like, dude, these people are amazing. And she met Chappelle, and she met all you guys. He was rolling with you. And she
even District 9 pulled up too.
all the guys.
Yeah.
She because I remember Chappelle was traveling with you guys.
Yeah.
And we were backstage, and I'm like doing like weird warm ups, and he's looking at me like, well, I could tell he's like, what is this fucking guy doing?
He gets it now, but yeah.
I'm sure. But my wife had such a great time. Like that
you
show.
guys played New York since then?
Yes, we played a Drew Stone show a couple years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Black and Blue Bowl 2022.
Oh, she's played. Okay.
Yeah, so 2022. That was another one the pandemic messed up. So the original lineup for that bowl was GB, and Madball and us, and it was 2 nights. Burn, Madball, GB, Shutdown.
I do remember this.
The second night, GB dropped off. A lot of bands dropped off. It was a very iffy time. So that Black and Blue Bowl was like, people were in, people were out. It's still like that dividing line with the pandemic that just fucked everybody up.
Damn. We're going to play New York this summer for the first time, 30-year anniversary, either on the boat or like somewhere else. Talking to some bands right now. It'd be a first show since then. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're doing a big one in June for Rich Hall.
Okay, nice.
With Converge, Cave In, Dead Guy.
That's in New York?
Ensign. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
It's matter of fact, I talked to Chip, the owner of Brooklyn Monarch, this morning, and the first 5 days there's 1,200 tickets sold already.
That's sick.
So it'll be that. I think there's only a couple hundred tickets left, but that's at Brooklyn Monarch.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
Played with GB. Oh, played with GB since then.
Yeah.
I have been back there. That's right.
June 14th. So we're playing. That's going to be June 14th. June 13th, we're playing a DC show. It's a benefit for immigrant families. A new club in DC. We're playing with Sworn Enemy.
Oh,
so that'll be a fun
Sworn
weekend.
Enemy, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. So
that's another one from back then, dude.
Definitely.
So you got the buyer side EPs out now, Equal Vision.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's not Revelation, but it's Equal Vision.
Listen,
I love Steve Reddy.
The fact that Ray Capo started that label, and the early Shelter 108, and then trickled down to like bands like One King Down and Bane. Like Equal Vision.
Our first 7-inch was on there too.
I forgot about that. I have that 7-inch.
Yeah, with Moon on the cover.
With her like lying with her hand like on the floor. I have that 7-inch.
Steve Reddy's a legendary.
Steve's legendary. Bill from One King Down has been working at the label.
He does our merch. He's my merch guy there. He does all
merch now.
Yeah.
Shutdown too.
Yeah.
We've been close with him ever since we toured with One King Down in the 90s, and
great band,
he came up with the concept. He said, "Listen, totally." Steve approached him, and he, my Steve in Shutdown, and he said, "Would you guys be willing to work with us?" And Bill talked to the label, and he was like, "We think it's a great match." We toured Europe with One King Down in 2023. We did No Turning Back, Shutdown, One King Down. We shared a bus. We did 12 shows in Europe. Had the best fucking time.
That's awesome.
And we did a June tour, and we were planning like the release at that point. We had new songs. I was writing lyrics on the tour, and then we just started planning out like the recording process.
It's got a Shelter vibe to it.
Very Shelter.
Yeah, man.
And it wasn't people's like what because it's on Equal Vision.
Good though, man. Yeah.
Dag Nasty Shelter.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Positive. Melodic, that was like the vibe we were going for. And then there's a song on there that's totally different too, kind of like more like Brooklyn style, like almost like I would call like almost like a Biohazards type of song, but definitely was going for a very specific message. Like the last song specifically where we have all our kids singing on it, it's about autism, called What Are You Thinking, about Dion's son. He wasn't talking a lot early in his life, and then he found out he had autism spectrum disorder. He's thriving now. It's a beautiful story.
Damn,
he's full functioning, goes to school, does great. Awesome, sweet kid. His name is Michael, and Dion wrote the song for him. And I came up with the concept at the end of the song to try to have all the kids of Shutdown. There's 12 kids collectively.
12 kids
between 4 band members.
Holy shit. So you got most of them.
Yeah, I got 4. Jimmy has 3, and Steve and Dion have 2 each.
Jeez, that's
so
crazy.
We came up with a concept to do this acoustic version of the song at the end and put the kids on the song singing like a campfire style chorus about autism awareness. And it's very touching. Like I listen to it, and we play it live, and Dion cries. Like it's for his son. Very moving song. How
old is his son?
He's 8.
Okay.
So it's Dion's gone through the process with him. Remember, Dion teaches disabled kids. So it's been really nice to have the kids on the album. They're credited on the lyrics.
That's amazing,
on the back, like my kids' names are on the back, and that's something that I feel like one day maybe I won't be here. They could literally look on Spotify or look in musical records and see they sang on the album. And we did it through this really cool app that Jerry had, this voice recorder app, where the kids would sing a cappella. And they would sing the hook a cappella, and Jerry took all the kids. So my kids did it together. Every kids did it their own way in their own house, and he took it all together and put it together as one big chorus.
That's amazing.
And you listen to it, and it's beautiful.
Damn. Your son has autism too?
My oldest son has autism spectrum disorder. They say he's on the spectrum because autism has 12 traits, and some kids have 3 or 4, and some kids have all 12. My son has mild autism, but he's diagnosed with autism.
Okay.
So he's full functioning. He works, he goes to school. He just got a full scholarship to University of Central Florida.
Amazing, man.
He's an amazing kid. Doesn't have a girlfriend.
What's he want to do?
He wants to be a teacher. He wants to be an American history or American literature
awesome,
teacher.
dude.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable kid. He works now at this car wash that supports kids with disabilities. So his family started this car wash called Rising Tide, and they have 6 of them in Florida, and they only hire kids with autism. And so and
cool.
they pay the kids like $15 an hour. They pay them, and they're not washing cars. It's a car wash with like one of the machines, but the kids help with memberships, and the kids are there,
that's amazing.
They support like the kids with disabilities. So my son is thriving. God bless him. He's paying his own way to college. Dorms.
Fuck,
saved
his
own money.
Man. That's amazing, dude.
Get straight A's in school. Some of the things about kids with autism that people don't realize, they're superheroes. They're legitimately, their brains are wired differently.
Oh, yeah.
They're, the way I can kind of describe it is, for me and you, if you saw Rain Man,
yeah, for sure, yeah,
they're geniuses. So it's, he computes things in his head. What you and I would take 10 minutes to compute, my son does it with blinking his eye. He has a photographic memory. So it's really helped him in school. School's easy for him, but he loves school. He actually likes going to school. He wakes up and goes to school and says, well, I can't wait to go to school.
That's
so
amazing,
it's been a gift for us to really learn more about it. We didn't diagnose him until he was 7 years old. I was a little bit in denial. I was like, oh, maybe he's just antisocial. He liked to stay at home and stay on the computer and the iPad or whatever. And I was like, that's all kids, Then we started to see like there might be something there. He didn't like loud noise. He didn't like bright lights. There was something different. Got him tested. They don't do like blood tests. You go Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital.
Joe DiMaggio. Wow.
Yeah, one of the biggest in all the country.
Okay.
You meet with you basically spend a day there, and you meet with a communication therapist, a speech therapist. You meet with, so it's all like meeting with different doctors. No test. There's no blood test to diagnose autism, but they basically ask you a series of questions, and you go through this like panel kind of, and they determine whether you have it, what traits you have to it, and all that stuff. And they came back to us when he was 7. They said yes, he does have autism, and it's kind of like a shock as a parent. It was like a little bit denial. Like no, he's just back when we were kids, like he would have just been different.
Totally.
But it's been a gift for him. Like he thrives in life. God bless this kid. He has blinders, Toby. Like if a kid in school may say something to him in high school, he has his own friends. They all love him. He has his 3 best friends. They're going to college together. They all got full scholarships. These kids are built different.
Do you watch those shows?
Yes,
bro. Love on the Spectrum and all that stuff.
Oh, not only that, dude, the one that Rappaport had, that was like our favorite show.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what is it called?
I know. It's not on anymore.
Let's get back to it. No, I know the name, but let's go back to it. But Love on the Spectrum is our favorite show in this house. These kids are the most beautiful, innocent, loving. They see the world. I wish all people saw the world like these kids do. They're so innocent. They love animals in the sky, and they appreciate everything. It's such a beautiful show. We're obsessed with the show.
They're like
it's so fucking
they're like
cute,
pure
man.
souls, like
pure souls, innocent souls,
innocent souls, dude. Love for animals, love for all humans. My son, if he ever hears me, like sometimes the Brooklyn comes out of me, and I'll use some Brooklyn slang is the best way I could say it.
Atypical.
Yes.
Atypical.
Great show.
It's a
great fucking show. Great.
And that kid sings in like a death metal band. He's like a hardcore kid.
No way.
In real fucking life.
Get out of here.
Me and Max went into him. He's all at the car, so he's all patched up. I text Mike. He's like, "What's up, you boys?" Oh yeah. We looked him up online. He's like, "Oh," he sings like a hard beatdown band.
Dude, that's amazing.
But that show's incredible. So go back. Sorry,
Just with kids with autism. Dion obviously dealt with a different level in his household, and just going through the motions as a family to learn the child, but also learn as the parent. There's such a level of understanding deep as a parent, like
sure.
me and Dion talk about all the time, like we were both in denial of it. We didn't know what to think. There's a level of guilt. There's a level of, did I cause this? Is there something I did to make this happen? But then when the acceptance comes, it's actually really beautiful. Like you realize like everything's meant to be this way, and your kid is really just like this like superhero that people don't realize. And my kid is proving it now. Like God bless him. Like the oldest, his name is Carmelo. He's the sweetest soul. I mean, you meet him and he loves his brother and sisters. He loves his family. I get a text from him every day on tour. I mean, I could show you the text. I hope you're having a great tour. He calls me Poppy. I miss you, Poppy. I love you, Poppy.
Fuck, man.
You're the best. At 18 years old, you're the best thing in the world. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you, Dad, to be doing this. I got that message from him yesterday. So, and he said, I'm at work now. I just wanted to make sure your tour's going good. I know everything happened in Oakland, and he was like worried about me. I said, don't worry about me. He's a very passionate kid.
Beautiful, man.
It's really beautiful, Toby. It's really beautiful.
It's hard to be an emotional dad with all that, I'm sure, man.
Are
you an emotional person?
Somewhat. So, me or him?
You.
Oh, very. I cry listening to music. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like
super emo, dude.
That's how I am. At heart, I always was. I was a Descendants fan. I was like, I grew up listening to shit that like just put me in my feelings. You know what I mean? My brothers were more into like heavier stuff, and I got more into like more of that stuff, and it just I was always lost in my feelings, you know, listening to that stuff. Saves the Day, Lifetime, Descendant. Like I'm into emo music. I love
when
emo
you become
music.
a dad, it's even crazier.
Oh, dude.
The emotions, dude.
It's
You
crazier.
got 4 kids, dude. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, the younger one after him, he's a completely different personality. He's a skater, you know, and he gets into trouble, and he's a street kid, and
Really?
he's it's you know, cops have been to my house, and
Does he rip? He's a good skater?
he's a pretty good skater. He's, you know, he wears baggy clothes and dresses like he's a raver from the 90s, grows his hair out. He's got, you know, strangly hair. You know, definitely not straight edge, but
You worry about him?
I do. We worry about him a lot. You know, he's a good kid, trying to get him into the core, bringing him to shows. His friends are going to shows through the
What kind of
Equinox
music
booking.
does he like?
Opium. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, no.
So Playboy Cardi has a
Oh.
label, and
My
it's
son
called
likes Playboy.
Opium Music, and there's this guy on this label called Ken Carson.
Oh, my son loves him too.
So I took him. Lou Benavides was the merch manager for Ken Carson,
Oh, okay.
and my son begged me to get tickets. And of course, like, you know, hardcore friends in weird places, right?
Yeah, dude.
You know that. So I took my son and his 5 friends to the Ken Carson show.
You're
And
the coolest fucking dad, bro.
Toby, it was like,
Damn.
it was a wild night, and I hung out with Lou the whole night. I watched this guy do $100,000 in merchandise at a 2,000 capacity venue. And
Holy shit, dude.
it was, I stood there because I wanted to hang out with my boy, and I let the kids go roam into the concert. I at one point peeked in, and it was like 2,000 kids with like broccoli head haircuts, like basically doing a jump up and down push pit to this guy Ken Carson.
Huge, dude.
And you know, after the show, Lou's like, he's like, here, you know, let me give them some shirts, and Lou hooked him up. You know, they were selling T-shirts for $85.
Of course, dude.
And you know, these kids were like kids in a candy store. Like, Dad, I took my son and his 4 best friends. He was like, Dad, this is like the
You're
time.
the fucking king.
Oh,
Pops.
dude, he could, like, I could do no wrong, like, for like the rest of the summer.
That's amazing.
And all
dude.
because of Lou. Shout out to Lou.
I love that, dude.
Hardcore always pays its dividends, you know, in weird places. But these are my boys for life, Toby. Like, they'll look out for me like I look out for Lou's wife. You know, it's hand in hand. It's not just me with my hand out. You know,
No,
like,
of course, dude.
hardcore friendships to me, like, it's you know, we do for each other.
Absolutely, man. Did you guys go to 1999? Go to New Zealand or something?
Yeah, we went to Australia, New
My
Zealand.
friend Dan Smith told me about you guys.
That's my boy.
I know Sick of It All went out there. Biohazard went out there, but then you guys went out there after
We're
that.
one of the only bands to go out there. We did Australia, New
And you
Zealand,
played with
Japan.
him, right? His band played with you?
Dan, so
it Day Contempt? DSM, yeah.
was his band with
Yep.
my friend George.
Okay.
And his Dave and George were his 2 best friends. We did a week in New Zealand. We did like 5 shows. First day in New Zealand, it's a great story, crazy story. I woke up in the middle of the night before the first show. I was staying at Dan's best friend's house, George, and his parents' house in Auckland, and I couldn't breathe. I was like wheezing. I was like, oh, maybe I have an allergy attack. I had asthma. I go in the bathroom. I noticed my throat was like 3/4 closed. I was gagging. I was like fucking scared out of my mind. They threw me in the car, brought me to the emergency room in New Zealand. I woke up 2 hours later. I was hooked up to all these IVs and everything. Doctor, I opened my eyes. Doctor said, boy, that was a close call, huh? You know, and that with that New Zealand accent. I said, what happened to me? He's like, I'm going to guess we have this rare plant here. And I'm going to guess if you have severe asthma or allergies, I think you had an allergic reaction to a plant that's only found in New Zealand. I couldn't remember the name of the plant. And they had to pump me full of antihistamines to unclog my throat. I was literally like, my throat was closing in my sleep.
Holy
So
shit. You could have died.
We had to cancel the first show. I spent a day in the hospital. Had to pay, it was like $1,000 or something. Like I had to pay like the hospital for, and we were, you know, and that tour was Japan, Australia, New Zealand. So New Zealand was the last leg. It was 5 weeks in Asia. It was called the Southeast Asia Tour.
Okay.
A week in Japan, a week in Australia, a week in New Zealand. Played the rest of the shows with them. Funny story with Dan. We traveled with him. We were all in one van together with the DSM guys. We went to this we went bungee jumping. Dan bungee jumped off this cliff.
What?
Dan had no tattoos. He had big loop earrings. He had maybe 2 tattoos. I have pictures of him in my house. I think I sent them to him. It's funny.
That is fucking crazy. Dan.
Oh, dude, Dan's the man. Shout out to the whole New Zealand hardcore crew. They were like OG Shutdown people, like brother band.
That's awesome.
And then Australia was a trip for us. Australia was I tell people, it's probably our best market. Like we did
toe to toe out there then.
Toe to Toe was out there. We didn't play with them. All those guys played. Day of Contempt played Australia. That was the Australia band. Okay. They did our Australia tour.
Okay.
So he booked it. Victory set us up with a lot of press out there. So when we went out to Australia, we were doing we had people from Warp Magazine coming. We had people from all these big press agencies. It was really cool. We got hooked up in Australia. We did 2 nights in 3 cities, same venue. So we did 6 shows, but we sold out the 2 nights. I forget, it was Sydney, Adelaide, I got tattooed in Adelaide.
Sick.
It was a fucking great time. Australia was probably one of my favorite countries I ever played.
Damn. How many times you been back since then?
Just none.
Really?
Yeah.
It was one time?
One time.
Fuck,
Japan, we went twice.
Yeah. That's crazy. Australia one time.
And we killed it there. Like, oh, we had the best time. Everybody still talks to me about that tour.
It's crushing right now with speed and all those
Dude, it's amazing. And I'm still friends with all the Aussie guys. I want to go back so bad.
It's such a mission getting out there, but it's fucking worth it.
You know, that's why we had to parlay it. We actually drove to LA, flew out of LAX to Japan, left the van here because when we got home from New Zealand, we flew back to LA and started a US tour.
Jesus,
dude, Toby, we were tour horses back then.
Imagine
man.
back then it was just nonstop going, bro.
Nonstop.
Billy went home, dude.
Nonstop.
It was all we did.
That was, and it was
over and over
and
again.
guess what? That was fun. Like that was
great.
it.
Weren't married, didn't have kids.
No.
It's a crazy freedom with your brothers, just traveling around playing fucking.
I cherish the time. I cherish it. You know.
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Fucking
man.
awesome. Japan was a trip too. Like we went there before Victory. Steve Pass hooked us up. We hooked it. What was those dudes? You guys were going right around the same time. The guy that would give out the toys to the bands in Europe, in Japan. The guy that gave out
Bounty Hunter.
That's the one. Bounty Hunter. That's my boys.
Me too, man.
So you guys went like 2 months before us in '97, and when we went, the guy would tell me, "Oh, I just gave Toby. We did all this stuff for H2O." We came back with like a box of Bounty Hunter merch. And like,
sick shit, yeah.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. We were on the cover of Warp magazine in Japan.
Yeah, my boy Ono would do that.
Yes.
Stuff.
Oh, no. Oh, dude, that's my boy.
Me too, man.
So all the same people. And there was this guy named Yonosuke. He was
Yonosuke, I know him too, yeah.
He lived in St. Mark's Place for like 10 years.
Okay, I remember him too, yeah.
And he would like come to CB's, dive off the stage. We had a lot of good friends in Japan.
He sang Japan to Europe on FTTW album.
Holy shit.
Yonosuke came, I brought him to the studio.
You're right. That is him. Because he moved to St. Mark's Place and he lived in the city, so he was hanging.
Sick. He was living in St. Mark's back then. It's wild,
dude. It's wild. It's wild. But these guys had money, so like they came here.
Yeah, they were like buying shit, probably vintage stuff, all that stuff.
Small world.
Damn, man. So with the new EP, are you guys gonna play a lot more shows now, or?
Oh yeah, we have like the year planned out. August is Europe. We're doing a bunch of festivals like Brack Rock.
Yeah, Brack Rock super fun.
I'm playing with Circle Jerks, like bucket list shit.
Sick.
And then all the Friends bands are playing that, like Agnostic Front, Madball. Then we're working on now. I think the in between the festivals, we're working with Madball, so we're doing like 6-7 shows with Madball in between the festivals.
Perfect.
So it'll be festivals, Madball, 12
perfect.
shows, and then we go back to Europe in November with Killing Time.
Yeah. How many shows then?
That's going to be probably like 6 to 8 shows, with the last show at Revolution Calling.
That's cool.
Haven't been announced on that fest yet, but I guess when people hear this, they'll know.
Yeah, they will.
Killing Time's already announced, so I feel like it's fine. We'll be there too.
Fucking love Killing Time.
I love Killing Time. That's another one. I can't wait to do that.
Top 5 for me, man.
Same.
Yeah.
And then we're going to South America in October. Actually, I think might be together. I think Will is working on something with H2O and Shutdown for something potentially in October in Colombia.
Yeah. That's okay. Great.
We're a part of that.
Okay.
So
great, cool.
so that
it's our last show in Colombia.
Yeah. So
okay,
Will
cool.
messaged me about that. So Colombia is like, I got to tell you, that's like, we went there 2 years ago.
Dude.
It was mind blowing. The love kids have for Shutdown, like mind blowing. I mean, like we had kids like hanging out at the hotel with us.
Yeah.
We had kids.
We come to the airport, all that shit.
Dude, they're incredible.
Yeah, they appreciate it.
By the way,
much.
Japan was like that too.
Yeah.
So cool.
Just they appreciate it so much,
dude,
man.
so fucking much. It's so cool to see, because we love the thing about it. Me and you guys, like me and you, we're lifers. Like we love this shit. So 100%. To meet kids that like have that devotion, like that's like our world. Like we thrive in that, because we understand each other.
Yeah, I love it, dude. You seem to balance things really well with your family and music and all that stuff. It's a lot, dude.
It's a lot, man. It's important to have a supportive, partner. My wife, I think as she says, she's like, we all have mental health struggles, right? But it's like hardcore brings the best out of me. She says it. She's like, you come home from a tour, I see it. Like you're a better person, like you leave for tour, you're planning these shows. You could see like this is your true passion in life,
man.
And my family comes first, and I really like this music shit comes right after it. And it's important to me. It's like some people need medicine to stay healthy. Some people need, the gym. I need hardcore. Like it honestly, like that's how I feel about it. Like I need this music in this world in my life.
Therapy.
It is. And it's done good things for me. Like I was at a point, I've gone through my own struggles when I was divorced, literally like what I thought was just like the end of my life. Like my whole world collapsed in 2009 when I got divorced and didn't know where I was going, didn't have the band touring, really just felt like a half a version of myself, and really just had really negative thoughts about myself, a lot of self-loathing, suicidal thoughts.
Did you go to therapy then?
I did. I went to therapy. I had like intensive therapy that, they basically said you have PTSD from your divorce.
Damn.
And just went into a lot of deep, dark places. And thankfully, like, had hardcore friends pick me out of it. Like, I'm not going to mention names, but a couple people flew to Florida and, you know, just said, look, we got your back. Like,
awesome,
you need to
man.
pick yourself up. My dad also, like, he flew to Florida. He's like, you know, you've done so many great things in your life. You're so young. You're 30 years old. Like, your life's not over. Like, it's just beginning, you know? I lived such a life, Toby, up till I was like 24. Like,
so much before you were 20, bro. It's
now I have
crazy.
these 2 kids. The boys were 3 and 1, and I'm getting divorced. And to me, I wanted this like perfect family. And to deal with that and know that the kids had to go through the divorce, like it wrecked me.
I can't imagine.
So I just, you know, it was a pivotal point in my life because I honestly didn't know like if I was going to make it through it. I had a couple moments where like I really like I had those thoughts where I am I worth being here? And then, you know, hardcore brought me back to myself again, you know, and that's like that's how I feel about it. It's medicine for me, you know. We started writing music. We played some shows. The guys were like, dude, we need to play some shows. We need to get you back to yourself. 2010, we played Tsunami Fest we did Back on the Bowery, Black and Blue, first show at Bowery Electric.
Tsunami Fest too,
Wisdom in Chains, like second show ever. Shutdown, Wisdom in Chains, Brace War. Back on the
That's in
Bowery.
Pennsylvania, right?
No,
Wasn't it Tsunami Fest?
Tsunami Fest is in Pennsylvania, but we did a weekend where we did Bowery Electric.
Okay, yeah.
Cousin Joe booked it.
Oh, dope.
And shout out to Cousin Joe and my brother. And you know, after that we did Tsunami Fest. So the band was like, Mark, you know, you need this, we need this, we're gonna start doing shows. They were writing so much music, and I was going through all these problems that they decided they came to me and they said, dude, we want to start a band, and we're not doing this to like hurt you, but we asked your brother to sing for it because we call it The Last Stand, but we're not going to do it unless you're cool with it. And I had all these problems going on. They had all this new music they wanted to put out. Toby, I wasn't in the right place to be a part of it.
That's right. I know that band.
So
that's
I gave them my blessing, and I said, you know, do the band with my brother. I'm okay with it. I need to get back on track myself. And they were writing music in 2010 for Shutdown, but it turned into The Last Stand.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. And then, you know, I slowly started to find myself again, intensive therapy, just like healthier lifestyle choices. I was going through some issues. I wasn't eating good at that point. I was eating red.
You look great though, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. No red meat, no pork. I cut a lot of things, no dairy. I cut a lot of things out of my diet immediately. Stayed eating chicken at that time. And it was just like, because I was just trying to learn what worked for my body. But stress will kill you.
Oh,
and I was going through a level of stress that I hadn't dealt with ever. A family breaking up, you know, unfortunately, you know, my ex-spouse was, you know, really, really like, it was a very nasty divorce.
That sucks.
So it was tough for the kids. It was tough for me to see the kids go through it at such a young age. But the universe is funny, man, because in 2013, you know, Liz came into my life again, my best friend. And it was like,
so beautiful.
It really is. Man. We reconnected in a way that like we saved each other. Right. And it was this really cool love story that we knew was in the making. We stayed best friends the whole time, even when I was married. Nothing inappropriate, just very close friends. She was in California, talked me off the cliff several times.
Damn, dude.
And for us
she's
to get,
a real one, dude.
She's a real one. Shout out to my wife, Liz. Definitely.
Liz. Yeah, I met her before too. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
Really great person. Unbelievable
it's a real
mother.
true romance freaking story, man.
Unbelievable mom to my kids. My boys really look at her as a mom. I mean, she's raised them all purposes. You know, my son goes to prom Friday night, and she sent me pictures, you know, she was getting his tux ready this weekend. And that's her son. I mean, she says, that's my son. Like, she looks at my boys as their kids, and my daughters are her kids. And
is your ex-wife in their lives too?
She is. She lives about 40 minutes away from us.
Okay.
My oldest son lives with me full time, and my younger son, because he got kicked out of the school by me, went to live with mom for the year. Yeah, he's finding his way, Toby. He's finding his way. He's a great kid, but he's just finding his way.
With her?
Yeah, he's definitely got the punk rock spirit.
Okay.
You know, kids now with like vaping and all this shit. Like it's like, it's just, scary, you know, unfortunately,
and the
like
internet, just everything, man.
This is the thing about smoking weed. I don't have any problem with it, obviously, but like when you're 15 and you get like really into it, like it does kind of demotivate you to do anything in life. And the thing about it is, I'm cool with kids making their own choices. You got to find yourself. Even like, it's funny, like I talked to, we're on tour with a band called Start Today. These kids are 16 years old. They're straight edge band.
Awesome, yeah.
And the dad, Neil, who's my good friend from In My Eyes, says, Mark, I promise you he's going to outgrow it. He goes, 2 years ago, my kid was listening to rap. He goes, look at him now. He's fucking edge, hardcore. These kids are going down the straight ahead rabbit hole. Like, I promise you he's going to come around, you know? So I just try to provide positive support to him, you know.
That's what I can do, yeah.
And I just, you know, listen, Toby, I had it easy with the 18-year-old. He has autism. Raising him was not like raising a normal teenager. Now I'm going through the regular parenting of raising a normal teenager who has friends, you know, gets in trouble,
dude,
you know, cuts classes. He's a real, it's fun. Me and Hoya were talking about this last weekend because Hoya's kid is the same age. Hoya's sons are the same age as my boys. Yeah. And Hoya said, yeah, you know, you're always going to have one that kind of pushes the envelope. And Hoya goes, how bad is he? I was like, well, he's got thrown out of school already. He goes, oh, he's like me when I was in school.
It's crazy though.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, he'll figure it out. Man,
He'll figure it out. I got faith in him, and I bring him to shows. One of the cool story, Newfound Glory, before Chad got sick, right before he got sick, they played a show at Revolution where you're playing with Bouncing Souls.
Yeah.
And he liked Newfound Glory. So Chad hooked us up. Chad brought him on the bus, and he was like starstruck. It was really cool, and that really impacted him. And I said to myself, I said to Chad the next day, I'm like, dude, I think you're the catalyst. I think my kid is gonna go.
No pun intended. The catalyst.
The catalyst. There you go. I love NFG. All those guys. Shutdown played a show with Newfound Glory before they were signed to anybody. Our tours crossed paths. They were on tour with Real Big Fish.
Oh, dude.
And we played at this like dive bar in North Carolina in front of 10 people with the both of us. I had known Chad. I played one of Chad's first shows with Shai Hulud in Miami when I was 15. He was 14.
Crazy.
So at a club called Cheers. Shutdown's
Cheers. Yeah.
Shutdown's first East Coast tour was with Indecision, and when we were in high school. It's like demos, and Shai Hulud's was like their third show ever. Chad played, and his mom after the show took us to like one of the arcades because the rest of the guys were 18 and they went out to South Beach, and his mom took us to like, I forget what it's called. It's kind of like a Dave and Buster's type of place.
Oh, yeah.
And we went there and we were like macking on chicks and playing pool and like
macking on chicks.
Like he was like we were 15. He was 14. I was 15.
Damn.
So, and that was our first show together. So I maintained friendship with him for 30 years. And my kids like on the tour bus meeting, it was like real full life circle moment.
So was that a big moment for your kid? Like maybe
it was like, cause they gave him like, he was right. He was on the stage and cool, Ian gave him a pick and like, they were like, was so cool to him. You know what I mean? They gave him merch and it was just like everything about that show. He was just, I thought like, I'm like, he's in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he started skating and it's like, I guess the kids like rap, and it's like,
they love hip hop.
First he got into NWA and he was into like real authentic hip hop. And then it just trickled out to this new style hip hop.
Yeah.
To each their own, right?
Hip hop fan?
I love hip hop.
Yeah.
I love hip hop. Grew up in Brooklyn, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude, for sure.
Beastie Boys, Biggie, that's my neighborhood. Like that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
So it's like, Biggie died the year I graduated high school. It was a big thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
Did you go to hip hop shows in New York too?
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
Mobb Deep, Biggie. Never got to see Biggie. We would go to the Beat Nuts played Lamore's, and that was like a big band for me back then.
Dude.
All those bands, like everything that came out of New York in the 90s is like my style of hip hop. Wu-Tang Clan, all that stuff.
Do you check out new hip hop too?
I do.
Because you're a son.
I do. Like I like new hip hop. I like Drake. I like Kendrick.
Yeah.
I gravitate more towards.
Travis Scott's got some songs.
Yeah. I like more J. Cole is probably like my favorite new artist. Yeah.
Love J. Cole.
And that's probably because he's a throwback to old artists.
Yeah, he's so sick, man. Incredible lyricist.
Definitely.
All his records. I like how he tapped out of the beef recently. Pretty smart move.
No, I like his message. He's got a cool message. His songs. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, dude. He's great, man. I'm looking for like a new record from him soon because he's dropped a couple songs here and there as of recently.
And that's what I like about him too. He takes a break. Like he does everything at his own pace. He's not trying to conquer the world.
Grid, off the gram, all that shit, dude.
My favorite.
Damn. What are some like daily rituals for you? You a coffee guy or no?
No. When I quit meat, when I quit red meat and pork, I quit coffee too.
Damn, respect.
Cool story. Mike DeJean changed my life. Back in 2018, DeJean's a brother for 30 years too. He's like, we call him the Six Scondotto always.
Sick. Love Mike DeJean.
I got really sick back in 2018. I got really kind of eerie because I got a lung infection very similar to rabies, and I wound up in the hospital. And they saw something in a CAT scan where they told me it was potentially cancer, and they mentioned the word cancer, and I said potentially, and it scared the piss out of me. Like they said, you have a white spot on your lung. It could be pneumonia, or it could be there's a term for cancer that they use medically, plasmosis. I can't remember the name, and I said, what is that? Neoplasm. And I said, what's neoplasm? And they said, cancer. And I was like, it hit me so fucking hard. I got so scared.
I'd be so scared.
I was sick for like 2 months, coughing up blood. I was seeing my mortality in the mirror, Toby. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I was waking up. I wasn't getting better. Really worried about my health. My wife was really worried. I was losing weight. They said, you have to get another CAT scan in a month. Went to a pulmonologist, a lung specialist. Sure, he was going to tell me the worst news. And I did a second CAT scan, went back for my follow-up visit. He goes, who is the doctor that told you that it could be cancer? And I said, the emergency room. He goes, you should never go back there again. He goes, you had pneumonia. He goes, you could see it in the CAT scan. He goes, why they would scare you with this neoplasm term? He goes, it must have turned your life upside down. He goes, it's almost gone. He goes, go home today. No, you had pneumonia, severe bout of pneumonia. You had a lung infection. He goes, it's clearing out. It's going to take a few months before you feel great. He goes, in no way do you have cancer. He goes, maybe in 2 years get another CAT scan. But he goes, I don't know why they told you that. And that fucking emergency room doctor turned my life upside down.
Fuck, man.
And I woke up every morning in a rut thinking I was dying mentally, physically.
I'm a hypochondriac. Yeah, I'd be
so this is March 2018. Mike Dijon comes with Cro-Mags, JM, 2018. They're on tour with I Hate God in Florida. Easter Sunday, my wife offers to cook them. Craig is on tour with them.
Like today, Easter Sunday.
Right. Oh, isn't that weird?
Go ahead.
Craig Ahead is on tour with them. Craig Ahead is another guy who's like the sixth member of Shutdown for 30 years. He sings on our record. Like Craig is probably as close to, he's on the By Your Side video.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I saw him in there.
Yeah. He came. He wanted to be there. He was there. He's best friends. I'm one of my closest friends, honestly, in hardcore. And my wife wanted to cook them a vegan dinner. So she made a vegan lasagna. The venue was around the corner. So it was really funny. We invited AJ, Mike, and Craig. AJ couldn't make it, so Mike and Craig came for dinner. My wife Liz made this like vegan lasagna, and of course when you're on tour, like, dude, a good meal is like unmatched. Yeah, so she had like all these roasted vegetables. My wife can cook, so like, you know, they came to the house, and of course Craig was like so impressed meeting my wife. He's like, oh man, this is the best asparagus I ever had. You know Craig, right? He's so fucking funny.
He's a foodie.
He's a foodie, and Dijon is listening to what happened to me medically, and he's like, Mark, he's like, when I go home, call me. He goes, we're going to have a big talk. He goes, I'm going to change your life, but you have to be ready to make some real dietary changes. You know, cut dairy out immediately, cut meat out, cut caffeine, you know, just see what works for your body. We're going to clear this lung infection out. I want you to wake up. I want you to take ginger and turmeric and lemon. I want you to crush it. I want you to take a shot the first thing you wake up, because my mother, he tells me, had a lung issue. And with the white spot from pneumonia, what can happen is it can build scar tissue. You can feel like you're short of breath. So you got to break that up by putting like citric acid. He started schooling me, dude.
Jesus, dude.
And then he told me to go to Whole Foods, and he gave me a list of groceries to buy. And he said, I want you to immediately throw everything in your refrigerator out and start buying organic everything. Organic vegetables, 10 superfoods, sweet potatoes, asparagus. He literally educated me on health.
That's amazing.
I started following it. The first 3 months were brutal, dude. I was like, you know, I was shitting myself, dude. I was like, and he told me, and I would call him and I'd be like, Mike, I'm like, this is rough. Maybe my body's not taking to it. He goes, listen to me. You're expelling, you know, 40 years of garbage from your body. He goes, give yourself 60 days. When you get over the hump, you're going to feel like a new man. And I would call him and I'd be like, I don't know if I could do it, man. I don't know. And he would like talk me off the ledge. Shout out to Mike Dijon. I love you, Mike. And Toby,
Dr. Dijon.
Dude, 2 months later, I started feeling great.
Damn.
I got my health back. I started feeling amazing. I like literally started telling the guys, I really want to fucking start doing stuff. And that's how like we got an offer to do the festival in Europe, Revolution Calling. That was later that year.
Things started happening.
Things started happening. And it was weird because I quit everything cold turkey. At that point, I quit meat, dairy, and coffee all at the same time.
That's hardcore, yeah.
Hardcore.
Cold turkey, yeah.
But for me, it was like, if this is how I'm going to turn my life around, like this is what I'm going to do. You know? And then I started to incorporate chicken where I wasn't full-blown vegan, but I was staying dairy-free. And for me, staying dairy-free was the key to my stomach health, my gut health.
Yeah, for sure.
Dairy was killing my health. The stress was killing my health worse. Yeah. So like, you know, I was coughing up blood in my stools. I was literally like, I was like, dude, really scared. Dijon changed my life. I tell him all the time. He doesn't even realize it. And then when I saw him last time, like, he's like, you still do all that stuff? I said, religiously, it's my lifestyle now. I go to Whole Foods, have my list of foods. I eat sweet potatoes. I roast everything. I don't fry stuff. Like, it's a lifestyle.
I still caffeine?
No caffeine.
Holy shit, since then?
Since then.
Holy shit.
So I drink tea. I drink turmeric tea in the morning. It's funny because the other night somebody gave me a drink in LA, yerba.
Yerba mate is crazy caffeine,
wait,
bro.
I never had it.
Gnarly, dude.
I had like a fucking panic attack. My heart was racing. Dude.
It's crazy caffeine.
So here's the thing. They told me that it's non-caffeine, like it's organic herbal. It's a supplement that's similar to caffeine. Toby, when I was in the hotel after LA, I swear, I was like, I thought I was having a panic attack. I go, Steve, feel my chest. My heart was beating through my chest.
Dude,
I had
so much
crazy energy for the show. I was like doing backflips off the stage, but it was like, dude, I didn't know. And Steve's like, Mark, it was that fucking yerba drink.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was 2 nights ago. It's crazy.
It's a big can too. That shit's so popular right now.
You actually put me onto something else that I've been doing it's going on 4 years.
AG1,
man. Shout out to AG1. I'm a member. Dude. I promote it. I tell people about it. I've recommended it to people that do it. Every morning I wake up, I do have a routine. And when I wake up, I drink. As soon as I wake up, first thing I do is I mix the AG1. I shake it up. I put it in the fridge for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I drink it. 30 minutes later, I do my breakfast. So AG1 is like my pre-breakfast because it has the probiotics.
Yeah, for your stomach.
And then 30 minutes later, I'll have like maybe some cereal with almond milk, or I'll eat a banana. And whatever I do, I want to make sure that like I have a banana in the morning after the AG1.
Yeah.
Potassium is important. I'm very, very health aware now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
The point I'm at in my life, like people don't even know me anymore. I've been doing it for 6 years though. So it's like, this isn't new for me. Like it's a lifestyle. My brothers going on tour is tough though. I got to tell you, like
it's hard to maintain the sleep and the food and all that.
Dude, it's
stuff,
rough
dude.
because it's like it's like, for example, the last 3 days, like all we've had is Mexican food. Like it's like I don't typically eat that much Mexican food. Like I really like try to eat like really like plain food, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay. It works for me, you know? I'd rather have good gut health than like suffer from it, you know?
Yeah. Just beans and rice is good, but
Oh, for sure.
do you work out too? Do you run?
I do run. I don't work out.
I tell you,
I run religiously. I stopped for the last few months. I'm kind of get back into it, but I would say a good portion of the year, like I wake up and there's a track by my house. I do 2 miles in the morning. Right now, I'm a big walker.
I love walking.
10,000 steps a day is 2 miles.
Yep.
And 5,000 steps is a mile. I don't know if you knew that. I learned that. And my wife and I came up with a plan about a year ago to make sure we like to walk after every meal. So if we eat a lunch, we do a 5,000 step walk, a mile walk. If we eat dinner, we do another mile walk with the kids. But our goal is to do 10,000 steps a day, which is 2 miles a day. That's how we're trying to maintain our personal health as we get older.
Yeah.
So I got to get back into running. I do run though. I love when I wake up in the morning. Actually, my routine would be AG1, run, come home, eat breakfast.
It's great.
That was my routine.
Like a mile or two, come back. Yeah.
2 miles. That was my thing, you know? And I do like, I'll walk a mile and then I run. I'll walk around the track and then I jog and then I just start jogging.
I love walking too.
But dude, breaking a sweat like first thing in the morning and then jumping in the shower and it's like 8 in the morning and like you have the whole day ahead of you and you have like this energy, like I'm not like lagging. It's so fucking awesome. It's like an adrenaline rush.
It is. I've been rocking like a weight vest too now when I go hiking.
See, I didn't start doing that. I see people do that.
It's dope, dude. You burn a lot just from walking shit. I love it so much. What about social media? On social media a lot?
I am. I manage the band's page and I manage, my own personal pages. It's overwhelming sometimes, man. It's hard.
I was gonna ask you what you think about
sometimes
it.
What I think about it is this. I think people live dual lives. I think there's like people's version of themselves on the internet and then there's the real life version of people.
True.
And I think that even unfortunately in my brother's case, rest in peace, my brother Kevin, I think that was very much a case of that. Like I think he was this beloved person online in the wrestling world. Like you go on Reddit right now, there's 10,000 comments and subreddits of my brother all pertaining to wrestling.
Wow.
He was definitely like very well known in the wrestling world.
Too, yeah.
But he was about my brother, it's kind of cool to tell you this. Turns out he was the first, and this is like in the history books, Don Tony and Kev Castle were the first podcast ever for wrestling.
Holy shit.
They are considered the godfathers of podcasting.
That's
he had
crazy,
he had a hotline before the internet where it was basically a podcast where people would call into the hotline about wrestling.
Wow.
And in 2002 or 3, they started a podcast. They were podcasters before podcasting was a thing.
That's crazy,
So
man.
people are giving him flowers now saying he was the OG podcaster of wrestling, Kev Castle.
Kevin Gill's got a podcast too, right? Wrestling one too, doesn't he?
I think he does. He's heavy involved in wrestling.
He is.
But
That's crazy about your brother, man. I did not even know that.
Toby, the funny thing everybody used to say, and this is true, like, Mark is the most known of the brothers just because I toured everywhere,
Yeah.
I'm not even 1/100th of known compared to my brother, to be honest with you. Like, because this is how you have to think about hardcore worldwide, right? Like, we might be 1 million strong worldwide. I'm just taking a number and throwing it out there. Wrestling, you're talking about 50 million. It's a bigger pool. So now you have hundreds of thousands of people that listen to his podcast. It's a much bigger pool, Toby.
That's crazy.
So look at WrestleMania today. By the way, there's people at WrestleMania. I was getting pictures yesterday with signs that say R.I.P. Kev Castle.
Dude, that's amazing.
Give me goosebumps saying it, yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
It's really cool,
You say he was straight edge to his whole life?
Straight edge his whole life, never touched anything, just very poor diet.
Fuck,
yeah,
man.
very very poor diet, unfortunately.
Damn, man.
I'm not gonna lie, like my brother was a self-loather. You get older, you don't have a partner sometimes, you kind of like you go through the motions. My brother was 56, didn't go out much, didn't exercise, was overweight, unfortunately, told he had diabetes.
Oh, man.
But lived a lifestyle where he kind of lived off the grid. We know a lot of people like this, right?
Totally.
No ID, no health insurance, no social security, nothing to take care of himself, but for all purposes took care of himself. Had a lot of friends that loved him and were there to support him. His friends were his family, really, in that world, that wrestling world. And my brother, unfortunately, he was given warnings for his health. You got to exercise, you got to cut out specific foods out of your diet. My brother was very known when I was growing up, like he loved like eating bacon and macaroni and cheese and just like really like comfort food type stuff, but it carried on into his adult life, Did
he have the relationships, like girlfriends for a long time or something?
Not really. Yeah. No, he was the definition of a true recluse.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Toby, like online, he was beloved. So there were two versions of my brother. And he was a beautiful person. He was an animal lover. Like he was a really good soul, Toby. Like he really like the guy, perfect example. He didn't take care of himself. This is a true classic story of someone didn't take care of himself, but took care of animals. He would borrow money to feed stray cats and not like buy food for himself. He would ask my brother for money. My brother thinking for it's him, and he would feed stray cats in the alley of his neighbor. He was a cat lover, and he loved cats, and he had his cat, and then he had stray cats, and he would go online and take pictures like, oh, I found this stray cat. Take the stray cat in, feed it, not bring it to the vet because he didn't know, like just befriend it. Man. And that's like a pure soul. Like I feel like my brother, honestly, like I tell people like, you know, he really had a hard life. Like he really got dealt a bad hand sometimes, you know. As a kid, before I was born, there's stories of him like kind of going dark, like, you know, didn't want to go to school anymore, quit sports, and my parents kind of didn't know where to go with it, you know, and mental health definitely played a role. And unfortunately, like I wish I said different, but like I feel like we probably could have tried to get him help, but you're your own worst enemy at some point where you follow these life patterns and you're doing it for 30 years. And, you know, my brother just unfortunately was given the warnings. He had chest pain for a few days before he passed, was afraid to go to the hospital. And just by the time he was about to go, he waited a little too long. And he had a friend, this girl who's online that, you know, befriended him for many years, and they worked in wrestling together. And I guess she was on her way to pick him up to take him to the hospital. And when she got there, he had passed.
Oh, man. So
he was trying to get dressed to go, but he waited a little too long. So the message in this story is just if you're feeling chest pain and you're in your 50s or 40s, please like go to the hospital. Like, I don't care if you don't have health insurance, they're still going to see you. Like, just go to the hospital. Worry about
get yearly checkups for sure.
Dude, it's so important, you know.
Colonoscopies, all that stuff.
I just had my first colonoscopy at 45, and my doctor came up to me the guy who does the colonoscopy came up to me and he said, "You are the textbook reason that they moved the goalpost from 50 to 45." And he showed me a picture, and they took a 23 millimeter polyp out of my colon.
What?
The average colon polyp is 3 to 5 millimeters. It's considered minor.
That's
dude,
scary.
Dude, I swear to you. And he showed. I turned 45 in September. Yeah, I got the colonoscopy October 1st. This is how I'm on top of my health. I got the colonoscopy October 1st.
Damn,
so my birthday was September 29th. It's free of charge, by the way. If you're 45 in our country, with or without health insurance, you are 100% covered for a colonoscopy. A lot of people do not know that. You probably don't know that. You're 100% covered. The government mandated 45 colonoscopy. You are covered for a colonoscopy.
What if you're 50?
50, you're due too.
It's free too.
Yeah, it's 100% free. I had health insurance. I had health insurance, but I didn't get a bill. It wasn't like covered. So the doctor came up to me and he showed me a picture. He took a picture. He said, and it looked like a wall of white. I think of a polyp as like a pimple.
Yeah.
But this was like a wall of white, like almost think of like plaque. And he said, you know what this is? This is a spicy meatball. He goes, this thing would have wrecked. If you would have waited till you're 50 to come see me, he goes, we would be having a much different conversation. Now I have to get a colonoscopy every 3 years just to make sure, because there's a likelihood it could grow back.
Yeah.
That's why you get the colonoscopy. They take it out. I have the picture of it, and I showed the band the picture. They were like freaked out about it.
One time, like a small one in there, but yeah, when I was 52, I got it a couple years ago. Yeah.
But I will tell you, like, I was having symptoms. I was having, pencil stools and a little bit of blood in my stools. And my grandmother died of colon cancer. My dad died of esophagus cancer. Like, so I was getting a little worried. Colonoscopy confirmed there was no cancer, but I had a 23 millimeter polyp, and it was taken out. Day after the colonoscopy.
What's the average polyp size?
3 to 5.
Jeez. Dude,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Once it hits 30, it could block your colon. So
that's
my doctor's,
crazy,
dude. So, and the day after my colonoscopy, guess what happened? My doctor said, you don't need medicine. You know what you need? Just eat more fiber. He goes, do you ever take psyllium husk? Psyllium husk is a natural fiber. You buy it in Whole Foods. It's just a powder. People think of Metamucil as like fiber, but that shit has sugar, red dye in it. It has 20 different ingredients. Psyllium husk is actually natural fiber. It's organic, and you put a teaspoon in water. I also do a lot of chia seeds now.
Great.
Dissolve chia in water. You let it sit for 15 minutes, and that stuff is like, it's a miracle for your colon. Like if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're having any gut issues, I highly recommend buy organic chia seeds. Let them soak in water. Drink a glass of it a day. Life changing.
So take some chia seeds, just soak it in water.
You take the ground chia seeds, you buy them at Whole Foods or wherever you go to buy, and you soak them in water for 15 minutes. They're not seeds anymore. So they're soluble.
Okay.
And they're soft. It's not like you're swallowing seeds. Damn. And I put a little lemon in just to taste for the taste, and you drink that. They say right before you're going to eat. What that does is it's a binder. So it creates it binds your stool so that everything comes out normal. But it also clears your gut. It's like basically think of it as like algae in the ocean. It absorbs all the bad stuff in your gut and lets you expel it.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that about that.
Yeah, it's game changer for my life. Game changer. Chia seeds.
Is it chia seed powder? You actually take the seeds and put those in water.
I buy organic ground chia seeds in Whole Foods, and I put a teaspoon a day in water, let it sit for 15 minutes, and I drink that right before dinner.
Damn,
by the way,
dude.
all this stuff got taken from me in Oakland the other night, so I'm not on my game right now, man.
Dude,
like,
I got some chia seeds for you. I got some AG1s for
fuck yeah,
you.
dude. Yeah,
You need an AG1 shaker too?
absolutely.
You take the packets on tour? Yeah.
So I take the travel packets on tour, and then
you
I
do
have.
electrolytes too?
No, I haven't dabbled in that.
Bro, fire, dude. I'll give you some.
Yeah, I need it today. That's for sure.
Electrolytes is so good for you, especially every night on stage and stuff like that. Yeah.
Today's the last show, so it's like, you know how it is. It's like,
And then traveling too.
oh, forget it. So I've been off my routine for 3 days now since we got robbed in Oakland, and it's just been like, that's why I texted you. I'm like, dude, I don't even have I've been doing AG1 every morning for the last 2.5 years. Like, so weird going 3 days without it.
Dude, it's crazy. Your van got robbed, and then you had trackers on the stuff, and you figured out exactly where it was, but you can't really find it in a sense because it's in a apartment building right across the street.
We played
fucked up,
Oakland
dude.
on today's Sunday. We played Oakland on Thursday night. The tour started on Wednesday on California. Played Santa Cruz on Wednesday. Had the best time. I sent you pictures. We toured the skateboarding Hall of Fame.
Sick, dude.
Shout out to Santa Cruz skateboards like for hooking us up that day, and had the best time. And then went to Oakland the next day. And
I know your texts are crazy. First it's like you hit me like my brother passed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The next thing is like we're on tour and now I'm at Santa Cruz is sick. The next one's like, yo, we just got robbed. I'm like, fuck, what a crazy
wild
2
dude.
weeks,
What
bro.
a crazy 2 weeks, dude. And for me personally, I was one of the unlucky ones because they smashed the side window. We went to the venue. The venue was loaded at 5:15. They weren't there. We were starving. Mexican restaurant around the corner from the venue. Parked the van right in front of the restaurant across the street and looked over. 20 minutes later, the windows were smashed in. They didn't take the equipment. It was like Google on YouTube, Oakland smash and grab. It's a thing.
Dude, it's crazy, dude.
They took all of my backpack, my suitcases, 3 of the other guys' suitcases and
Computer, all
backpack,
that stuff.
MacBook, everything you could think. My AG1, man. But they the instruments were still there. They were packed in the back. They only did what they could reach in the front, which was all my stuff. So it sucked because like my car keys were in there. I currently have my car at a dealership getting the key fob because my car keys were in there. How am I going to start my
Dude.
car? Medication, stuff that I do, my chia seeds, I do this stuff every day religiously, Toby, to stay on top of my health.
Yeah.
So it's like now, you're on tour, you're eating like shit. You're not taking your food. The energy level changes like that.
Especially without the AG1s. Oh, yeah.
Dude, so it's like, that's why when I was texting you, I was like, I know he's at least got some AG1 in his
I
house.
do. It's crazy. I got all my blood done this year and all my panels came back. It's the first time ever as a vegan that I had any deficiencies in any vitamins because I've been doing AG1s for like 2 or 3 years.
It's crazy,
It
dude.
really fucking works, man. It's crazy. dude.
I'm a big believer in it. What works for you, right? It's like
totally. It
it's
doesn't
like
work for everybody.
it doesn't work
There's
for
some
everybody.
naysayers online. There's some haters. Oh, I try this one, but I love it. It works for me.
Coolest thing, and you could probably agree, when you go to Europe and it's so rough eating in Europe sometimes, like when you wake up and do AG1, you have energy. When you were in Europe before AG1 where like you can't find something to eat and it's like 3 PM and now you're like shaky.
Yeah.
You do the AG1 when you wake up, and I did it every morning on tour in Europe. It was like a game changer. Like the guys were starving and I'm like, I'm good. We'll get food in a little bit, like such a game
You
changer.
got your greens for the day already.
Dude, incredible.
So that's a daily ritual for you for sure.
Daily
AG1s
ritual
every
for me.
day.
Actually, thanks to you. You put me onto it.
It's crazy. I remember you hit me up about it a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any major regrets in your life?
Just I definitely wish that Shutdown, I feel like back in 2001 we were really like, after that Warped Tour, I feel like we were really on the verge of something very, very, very special with the band.
Yeah.
I don't regret things because I feel like we all have these beautiful families now.
Totally.
The universe worked it the way it was supposed to. Do I feel like the story would be played a little differently had we continued the tours? 100%.
Yeah.
We put the time in. Like it was almost like we were at that level, that pivotal point where you did the
Totally.
work, you got label support, you got the people coming to your shows. I'm glad that in a way we didn't it wasn't stopped where it was like we were only going up when we stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like to be able to come back now, I feel like I'm always a believer that everything happens for a reason. So it's like regrets, maybe not. Everything happens the way it was supposed to, and now to have this record in 2025 with the same guys,
Crazy.
and for
dude.
the kids to be on it, and for it to be positive, and to talk about things like, there's people that come up to us about this record, they're like, it means a lot that you guys are talking about mental health. Like at shows, I'm not preaching, but I'm letting people know like we need to be aware of our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
If we're losing too many people to suicide, like, hardcore is an outlet. Like, let's be there for each
100%.
other. It's not a cheesy speech. It's a real authentic, like heartfelt thing,
Yeah.
And I try to really focus on it. The autism song, like I really want people to know what it's about before we play it. And that's definitely, Shutdown pushed the envelope with that, because some people feel like it's more of a pop punk song, but it's like, but the meaning behind it is so important to us
Yeah.
that it's like, I want people to understand. And I feel like we're connecting with people now, dads, the guys that used to come to see us. We had a guy come to the show last night with his kid, a lot of people on this tour were coming with their kids that came to see us,
Awesome.
which is really cool. Guy was a correctional officer last night, came with his son. Kid had a suicidal tendencies hat on. He's like, dude, he's 19. I gave him Against All Odds. He's obsessed with Shutdown. He's like, probably because he knows I love your band. And shit
Awesome,
like
dude.
that,
Yeah,
like you
it's
go on
beautiful,
tour.
dude.
I could meet one person this tour that tells me that, makes the whole tour.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Like people starting to come with their kids now because we're like,
How wild is
we're
that?
older, obviously. And it's like, yeah, it's wild, man.
And for me to connect with these new kids, Toby, like on this tour, you know, I prided myself in like putting a package together with young bands like we were, right?
Yeah,
like I
for
wanted
sure.
a reconnection of, so Start Today, again, is Neil St. Clair, who was played in My Eyes and Fast Break. It's his
Crazy,
son,
dude.
Tate, is in the band. He's a bass player. And he approached me and said, hey, if you guys do some stuff with this new record, my son's band's like, they're like the second coming of Fast Break. He goes, you got to hear them. And he sent me a video and I go, dude, this is amazing. These kids,
I'm going to check them out for sure.
goosebumps. Like
Okay.
it'll remind you of the tune-in playing with like Cornerstone in 1996. Like,
Damn.
if you remember playing the tune-in where like the second band started, kid just started flipping off the stage.
For sure, yeah.
There was like a Connecticut vibe,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Youth
yeah.
Crew Connecticut thing.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is like,
Sick.
but it's LA Youth Crew.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because these 16-year-old kids, let me just tell you, these kids, they come, they play the first show with us. They know Shutdown, but they're not like singing every word. They go home after the first show. They must have learned all the words. Every kid in the band in Oakland is in the crowd singing all the words to our songs. The kids in the band
That's awesome.
moshing. These kids love hardcore so much. They're after the show, we're loading out. They're working on their mosh moves, like joking around with each other, like spin kicking, just like in the
Wow,
venue.
dude.
These kids are obsessed with hardcore.
It's so
and
sick.
and
I
they're
love
not
it,
and they're
dude.
not posers. Like these are real hardcore kids. Toby, these are kids that are
Dads
talking to me.
hardcore dads, yeah.
Talking to me about Straight Ahead, talking to me about Minor Threat. They're not kids that like don't do their homework. Like
Yeah.
these kids know their shit.
It's
Really
awesome, dude.
refreshing. Like they breathe life into me on this tour. They're amazing kids. I'm really proud to get to know them. And I'm telling you right now, we're doing this podcast today, 2025. I'll put money a year from now, we're going to be talking about this band.
Yeah, I believe it. When I saw Pat Have Heart post about it, I hit him up about it. He's like, yo, check these dudes out. Like, if
Dude,
he's
the
talking
singer
about
reminds me of Pat.
Oh, okay. There's so many hardcore bands now. It's a beautiful time, I think.
It's dude, it's the genre has blown
And
up.
it's so amazing to see all the different styles and sounds.
It's crazy, you know.
And looks. It's all hardcore, but everybody has their own take on it.
It's gotten bigger than we could have ever thought, right?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, there's room for everybody.
But still very underground too, because if you tell like a normal civilian what you do, you're like, I sing in a hardcore band. Like they still kind of don't get it.
They pretend they know, but they don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's still underground. It's
For sure,
way.
for sure. It's just some bands have risen like different genres, like you say, like Speed played Coachella,
Turnstile,
Not Loose, all those bands,
Scowl,
all those
late
bands.
night TV shows. It's incredible. Dude.
Even Kubla Khan came originally from the hardcore
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like all these bands now are just they blew up.
I love it.
They're
I love
next
it so
level.
much, dude.
Turnstile is one of my favorite
I hate
bands.
that gatekeeping shit. Like,
No, fuck that.
because when we first came around, maybe we weren't real hardcore compared to the generation before us, or you guys. Like we weren't the sound that people thought was the hardcore sound.
Dude, I
It
remember.
all changes, you know.
I remember when H2O first started, and it was like those people that you were so different that people didn't know. But you know what? People accepted you guys. So it was like the same people that were moshing the Madball came to H2O and were singing those songs.
Yeah.
And it was like, but I know because you guys were doing something totally different.
Even though they were our friends, I think people expected to be something harder or different. I don't know. It's just people around us, you know.
I remember
It came
H2O,
out melody, yeah.
those Coney Island High shows that I used to go see you
Bro,
guys back
dude.
in the day, like where, you know, like Family Tree and like, dude, like those were some of the best memories of my life. Like being with
Thank
my
you, man.
friends, dude,
Yeah.
it was incredible. Like I still listen to that stuff because it brings back a lot of good memories for me, you know,
Yeah.
friends I've lost, but also people that I met there, that I maintain lifelong friendships. So my good example, my friend Olivia, you know, Olivia lives in Philly. You know, she recently was battling cancer. Shout out to Olivia.
Shout out to Olivia.
Olivia Lusage. She, you know, I met her at Coney Island High, dude. She's my life. Like she's like a sister to me now. You know what I'm
Crazy,
saying?
man.
And now she's part of the Philly hardcore scene. You know, basically they adopted her because she moved there, but she was in New York hardcore. She was skinhead girl in New York hardcore in the 90s. Like one of my best friends. Like she was awesome, you know. And it's like she's just one example of thousands of people, like lifelong friends. Toby,
Yeah, dude.
friends that you know, these people have my back forever. You know,
Yeah.
she sent me a picture from WrestleMania yesterday of our other friend Mike, who held the sign up for my brother Kevin, and she just like, it's always like random, like, I love you, I got your back, anything you need. And I'm like, same to you, like you just went through breast cancer, you know, like
Yeah,
I got your back, you know.
Yeah,
That's
it-
hardcore.
it
That's
is
the
hardcore.
beauty of hardcore.
Yeah, I know the answer to this last question. You're an optimist or pessimist, but you've always been a positive person, man.
Always.
Even through your darkest times, probably, right? The divorce and everything, you still
You have to.
you're still here. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you know, sometimes I need it to be, you know, my wife is very positive, and
Yeah.
sometimes I need it to be reinforced, but the aura of my being is positive. Like, you know, I believe in the things. When I was 15, I believed that we could do something special with the band, and I made it happen through writing letters to labels. You know what I'm saying?
Really did, man. It's amazing.
I you know, but I put it in my head that like it was possible, you know, and I try to maintain that even in my adult life. Like, you know, right now we're trying to buy a house, and it's been really a struggle because of the market and things like that. And it's just like, you have to put these thoughts in your head that it's going to happen and just believe in them every day. That positive affirmation, it does. There's something really like it works. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah. So you gonna buy your first house? His first house?
Yeah,
you know?
first. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
Big move.
Dude.
You know, we have the money saved. We have our credit in line, but the market is kind of upside down now. So we're just like, we're waiting it out in this little townhouse with the 4 kids, and it's like, but it's like, it's a big step for us, you know, because it's like we're trying to, we want to just continuously grow, you know.
Yeah, man.
And just do the best we can for the kids.
My biggest takeaway from this conversation is your wife and the whole entire journey of just waiting for each other when the time is right and coming back full circle to each other, and not even fate. It's just it was meant to be, dude. It's incredible, man.
It's I believe like it was brought together. Listen, and just to make even more magical, like the time I met my wife, this will give you goosebumps. Like, so my dad and me were best friends, and my dad and I told you I met my wife. My wife and I got together late 2013. My dad in March of 2014 got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yeah.
On the spot, got a cold, didn't get better. 70 years old. They told him, went for a test. He was an Army vet, Army Reserves. He was a veteran, and they said, you have stage 4 esophagus cancer. Same cancer Lou's battling, by the way.
Okay.
And
same as Lou.
Same as Lou, esophagus cancer.
I've been texting with Lou lately.
Now my dad was a smoker his whole life, and cigarettes, and quit before, you know, in the 60s, and it caught up to him, and they told him he had 6 months to live. We can't do anything. We could do chemo. Maybe it'll save you, but unfortunately, like, they couldn't even operate on him. Like, the blockage was so bad that the operation they thought would kill him. So they basically said, you have 6 to 12 months to live, and the chemo killed him really fast. I hate to say it. Like, he got diagnosed in March, he died in August. But here's the beauty in that story is he knew I struggled the years before that with the divorce and everything. And he said, you know, things are going to work out for you. And Liz came into my life in late 2013, and I lost someone very important to me, but this woman was in my life that really carried me through this loss. Yeah. And she was there for me that year in 2014. That was our first year together. And she went through it with me, and she was there for me. You know, I'm telling you, Toby, losing my father was a big, big loss for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It wrecked my world, but my wife was there to make sure I would be okay. And I feel that, you know, they say like sometimes the universe takes something away, but they put something in your world to balance it out. Man. Like my whole world was taken away. She was put back into my life. And then we had this beautiful daughter, Harley, who like literally, like, it just breathed life. Like, my dad was alive when she was born. Harley was born May 29th, 2014. My dad died August 24th, 2014. Fuck. Didn't get to meet her, but while he was going through chemo, she was his first granddaughter. Remember, I come from 5 boys.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys. That was his first granddaughter. Damn, so I talked to him on the phone, and he was like, I'm sorry I can't meet her, but I'm so proud of you. Like, Liz is meant to be with you. And, you know, you guys, I couldn't be happier. And, you know, his girlfriend at the time, she's like, you know, your dad died at peace knowing you were taken care of. Like, you had your life together. It was a big thing for my dad because he wanted to make sure his kids were okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful, you know? Man.
So it's really cool.
Fuck, man. And now your brother's with him.
Now, yeah. There you go. The second my brother died, I said it. Like, I'm someone that believes, like, you know, the soul leaves the body the second you die.
Same.
Religious beliefs or not, like, the soul leaves the body the second you die. And I believe, like, my dad, like, I had this weird dream the first night my brother died, and I woke up in a sweat, Toby. Like, my wife was like, "Oh, you okay? I know you're upset about your brother." I'm like, "No, I just had this vision of, like, my dad with his arms, like, wrapped around my brother, this." And my dad was like, "I got him, don't worry." And he was like welcoming my brother. And it was, dude, it's so eerie, dude.
So heavy
it's so heavy.
Yeah.
This was like last week, by the way.
Fuck.
And my wife was like, this is my wife. She's in the middle of the night. Let's go downstairs and talk about it. And we're in the kids, my baby was sleeping in the room, and my wife, and I cried on my wife's shoulder for an hour. And she said, that was your dad speaking to you, letting you know your brother's okay. Oh, and that's why, like, now, like, you know, the burial and the wake and this and that, and it's like, I don't really have strong feelings about wanting to be there because I have my own relationship with my brother, and I feel like I believe like he is gone now. Like, all that stuff is more ritualistic for people that are religious, you know, to do, like, you know, a mass in a church and things like that. But it's like, and it's okay because that's how my mom's gonna heal. But for me, like, knowing that my dad has him, like, I'm like, my brother's with him, like, I'm at peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's happening next week in New York.
Next Friday, yeah. The funeral's next Saturday, and Friday there's a wake. We cremated him, so they're doing like, they'll have his ashes, kind of like a wake with ashes, and then the funeral Saturday morning, next Friday. So I'm gonna be a lot of traveling these next 2 weeks.
Damn, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry for your loss, man.
Thank you. It's my brother and I had I wouldn't say volatile relationship the last 5 years or so. We weren't super close. I hate to say, Toby, I'm going to be very honest with you on here. Like, because of his reclusive lifestyle, he didn't have a close relationship with my kids. I would use the word ashamed, just being real with my feelings. Like, I was kind of ashamed of him. I hate to say that, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to front. So it wasn't like a hate relationship. Every time I posted something, he was very big on social media because of the wrestling stuff. So every Shutdown thing I posted, he reposted it, and I would heart it. But I would never ask him how he's doing.
Yeah.
I would just heart it back. I would just, on Instagram, he would repost everything I posted, repost up. Yo, I'm so proud of you, proud of you. And I would heart it, but I would never like tell him I loved him or tell him, yo, how are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And that was probably like the last 5, 7, 8 years. So he managed Shutdown back in the day. He managed Shutdown from 99 to 2001. We had a booking agent and manager. He was our manager.
Damn.
He's always been close with me, but we had a weird relationship the last few years. Living in Florida, knowing that he was living this like reclusive lifestyle, it kind of like pushed me away a little bit. He loved the kids. And come to find out, he had a picture of the kids on his fridge. It was like really like, so I know,
so proud of you though, man. Fuck.
Thanks, man. And he was like, very good person. The best way I could describe it is like very pure soul. Like, like he didn't love himself, but loved everybody else. And that's like the true story of a reclusive person. Mm-hmm. He loved animals. He loved his friends, but it was like he wasn't kind to himself. And that breaks my heart, but it's like,
it's sad.
But it's a lesson I feel like can be turned into a positive is the only reason I say it. I don't say it talking shit about my brother. I say it because I love my brother and I want it to be turned into a positive for other people that may be in his position. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I feel like I could have reached out more, but I also feel like for him, you have to take the signs in life when things aren't going your way. If you're on diabetes, if you're diabetic, take your medication. You know what I'm saying? Exercise.
Totally.
If you're having chest pain, again, go to the hospital. So it's just, he lived on his own terms. He died on his own terms is the best way I could say it, and I'm glad he's at peace now. The first week was really rough. This week was cathartic doing the tour. Yeah. He loved me playing shows. He was very proud of Shutdown. Very proud. You could just go on his Facebook page. I mean, extremely proud of me. So awesome. He just doing this tour was something I know he would have wanted us to do. Like my brother was like that. Like what? You would cancel it?
He wouldn't want you to cancel it. Yeah. Because I thought at first it might happen. Was he still going to come out of it? Yeah.
Never. Yeah. My brother, anyone that knows my brother knows that. Even his friends were like, he would 100% want you. And it wasn't a thought to cancel it because I know that just wasn't part of what I didn't want to sob in the moment. I wanted to go through my own grieving. And believe it or not, this was part of my grieving process. Like
sure, man.
Playing these shows, dude, like very emotional for me.
Yeah, man. Well, fucking glad we got the deuce. You got to be here in my kitchen finally, man.
Me too, man. I've been listening to these podcasts for years, and every one of them, and the one you just did with Aaron, with Jesus Peace, that was a cool one. And it's just like you always learn something different. The people that come on this podcast that you never really truly knew about.
I learned
them.
A lot about you, dude. So much about you because we've known each other through the years. We played shows. I know you since you were a little kid. We've crossed paths throughout the years in Florida and stuff like that. We definitely have a history together with H2O. But then just seeing you as a dad and everything you've done in your life, it's amazing, man.
Thank you.
But you're still like so young to me, even though you're in your 40s.
That's the shit.
You don't even look old. Like you're aging.
Honestly, Toby,
you just have a beard now. It's the same kid.
No drugs or alcohol definitely plays a role in that.
Dude,
like I don't like alcohol is just gross. It hurts my stomach. Like it's not my thing. There's a lifestyle if you want to live, and I really do want to see my kids have families. I want to be alive when they're older. You know what I'm saying? I watch my dad die. I watch my brother die. Like I don't want to be in that position. I want to be in a position where I can actually watch them grow older. And trust me, I still struggle. I have back issues. Yeah. I have like neck and shoulder issues. I go to a chiropractor once a month, but it's like you got to do the best you can to take care of your body. You're only given one body.
Exactly. One body, one chance.
Literally, one life.
Well, I appreciate it. Love you, man.
Love
I'm happy
you, bro.
you guys
Thank
are
you.
playing music and you're touring and fucking with the same lineup. It's fucking awesome, man.
Thank you, man. I really, we're just trying to connect with these new kids. I met so many young kids on this tour from the bands that were with us.
Yeah.
And I think there's a message of our band that truly isn't known yet to these new kids in the scene, that when they're finding out about us and learning, holy shit, like these guys stand for something. I'm seeing it like at these shows, like we're making new fans at these shows, which with the new record,
2025, it's crazy.
That's the goal, So like, I'm interested tonight because OC, we have all the old heads coming, but I have like new kids from the new record coming. So it's in a record, so it's gonna be fun no matter what.
Program's sick, dude.
But it's been really fun. I feel really privileged to be able to still be able to write and put out hardcore on a label like Equal Vision.
It's great, dude. Shout out to Steve Reddy once again.
Oh, dude, big shout out to Steve Reddy and Dan, who runs the label, and Bill, and just everyone who works. Dude, they are the best. Like,
we're staying there. Steve invited us to come stay at one of his cribs out there, so we're going to stay with him.
You know, when Kevin died, he was one of the first people to text me, and he was just like, Mark, I'm so sorry. Like, you are, you know, obviously I'm seeing all the love. Kevin got a lot of love on social media. Oh, this is pretty cool, Toby. On the day after my brother died,
get Stella, babe.
He was the most talked about topic on Twitter on Tuesday.
Really?
It's literally factual. Like, he was the number 3 most mentioned topic on Twitter.
Or something? Yeah.
That's what it was, trending. Sorry, I don't know the terminology. He was the number 3 trending topic on Twitter. Kev Castle passed away.
Wow.
Again,
dude.
from the wrestling stuff. So
Crazy,
you can go type in.
He was so loved. I wish he
didn't know it.
I know, man.
And Toby, you know the saddest thing? He could have monetized it and made at least somewhat of a living. He didn't have income, and it was like he could have he belonged working for the WWE or something. Like, the dude like had a passion like we have for hardcore. He had it for wrestling, and he really truly helped all these young bands too. So he had this double love where he was a rock promoter, underground New York hardcore promoter, and then he was the wrestling guy.
Fuck.
Then you could see it, like, if you type in on anyone that goes on Google, just type in Kev Castle R.I.P. You will see, I'm not even kidding, tens of thousands of things. Not even like hundreds, thousands.
Damn, dude.
It's wild.
Have you read some of it about your brother?
I do, and
wow.
the Reddits go a little crazy. Like, some people are talking about suicide. My brother did not commit suicide. You know, he had a heart attack, and that's the truth. You know, some people are afraid to tell the truth. I believe in just being transparent. I've always been. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
I love that.
I want to make people aware that my brother was an amazing person, but it's okay that, you know, some people don't take care of their health, and this is unfortunately like the price you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It sucks beyond words, but there is a positive that can come out of it.
Yeah, man. Well, it sounds like he was really, really loved, not just by you and your family, but all kinds of people all around the world, like music and wrestling.
He made an impact, dude,
so
and
peace to him,
it's
man.
sad that, you know, we're seeing it now after his death. But it's beautiful that he made this impact. Like, my mother is really loving this, because it's like people are just reaching out to her out of the blue. Like, your son was just this amazing person, and my mother, it's like, it's very, it's part of the grieving process for an 82-year-old woman. You know,
of course.
Her whole world is wrecked.
Fuck,
so it's like, you know, a mother outliving her son. It's like the worst thing you could think of, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we're just going through it, trying to pull positives out of it, and just kind of move forward, right?
Yeah.
My brother would want it that way. That's just the way he was. We're going to use his ashes. We're going to sprinkle some of it on the address at Castle Heights, 8311 Northern Boulevard in Jackson Heights.
Amazing.
We're going to sprinkle other ashes at Citi Field, because he was a big Mets fan. And then we're going to sprinkle the other ashes at Madison Square Garden, because that's where he saw all his WWE pay-per-views growing up.
Dude.
That's my plan.
That's amazing, man.
And also, actually, just before I got here, Chip, who owns Brooklyn Monarch, Chip Sue, he, you know, the Meadows, he's a promoter. This is just how loved my brother was. He's, the day of Rich Hall's benefit, he's inviting me to do a celebration of life event pre-show across the street, you know, free of charge for people, where we could use a projector and just have, because all the same people are going to be at the show, and just have people kind of stop in and pay their respects to Kevin.
Amazing.
So we're working on that too. So it's really cool.
Fuck, man. That's the hardcore family for you right there.
Big
dude.
time, man. Big time. This music means more than anything to me, but the community and the family that it provided me is like, it's the reason I'm alive today.
Yeah, I would say the same. Well, I love you. Thanks for being here, Mark.
Thanks, Toby. Love you, man.
I'm sure we'll do a part 2 someday. We can come back here some other years from now. Who knows when you be
back.
Dude,
you know, I just want to let you know, when I was young, like, you inspired me with the PMA stuff. Like, it was big with the early H2O stuff. I never told you this, but like, it was very influential on me personally. Like, you guys taking us under your wing a little bit, and just seeing you guys do something different back then. You know, obviously in New York hardcore in the 90s, you think of the greats, the Agnostic Fronts, the Madballs, you know, the Murphy's Laws, and you were part of that family, but you were doing something completely different, and you were sticking to this whole positive theme and positive vibe. You weren't doing Youth of Today, you weren't doing Gorilla Biscuits, you were doing your own thing.
Yeah.
So it was like you were somewhere in the middle, and it was very influential on me personally. You know, as a kid, and it's still like, you know, like, it's funny, you would laugh, like, you know, my kids love H2O because I listen to it I listen to it all the time, but it comes up on my playlist. But it's a very big influence on me, and I think hearing me now and my positive message, you were somebody that was a part of that influence when I was growing up. Everybody knows it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I love that, actually.
Yeah, man. We continue to do, I'm sure we're going to do more shows together, you know?
Sure, dude.
I love every guy in H2O, you know? I talked to Adam, just really quick, I talk to him all the time. We talk about health shit all the time.
Oh, yeah,
when I had the lung issue and Dijon was helping me, I reached out to Adam. Adam was talking to me about like fighting, if God forbid it was cancer, he has a plan to help me and to do the intermittent fasting. And and Adam has like the playbook on how to beat cancer with the guy that he studied with. And Adam, shout out to Adam, my boy.
So on point, dude.
Dude, he is so awesome. Like he, and I remember him following me. He's like, "Did you find out?" And I was like, "No, it wasn't cancer." You know, and he's like, "Good. You know, let me know whatever you need." You know,
he's so dialed, bro, and his whole body and all that.
And that's like just even like Rusty. Like I feel like H2 on Shutdown, we're real like the band members, like very authentic people. Like you saw my guys outside. Like we're heartfelt people. Like there's no egos. There's nothing. It's just pure love for the music. We're in this, no money, nothing. We're doing this shit because we love it.
100%.
You know, and now even at this age, and the thing is, now we have families, houses, careers, whatever you want to call it, to be able to be in the position to do this where you're not counting. We're going to lose a lot on this tour, dude. We got robbed.
That's what else you go do. Fun. Bouncing Souls going to be fun.
It's going to be, it's like, but it pays itself off, dude. It's like, it works itself out. You know, the mental health that this tour provided me, I couldn't pay a psychiatrist to do it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Having my 3 best friends hug me, tell me, don't worry, we got your back. Like, we're glad you're with us. Having Vic from California, shout out to Vic.
Vic's out here, man. Yeah.
First guy I ever met in California.
Yeah, he's a legend, dude.
My brother.
I was cool. He's with you guys.
He's my brother. His
brothers and Stick to Your Guns, too. It's great, man.
Oh, Adam's my boy, too. This is all extended family. I don't think there's a family tree for Shutdown that extends so deep into today's world.
Yeah.
That it's cool that I could tell these stories because I go to their shows when they're in town. You know, if Adam's in town with Stick to Your Guns or Vic is here or anyone in the hardcore scene, but like the family tree spawns so deep, dude, that it's like Lou's on tour with this rap guy and, you know, Lou Benavides. It's like there are so many different connections to Shutdown.
Everywhere,
but the friendships are all intact always.
Totally, man.
So it's cool to maintain. I think that's the authentic part about hardcore and like what we do and the people that are committed for life to this shit.
I agree, man. That's why we're here.
That's
why we're still connected. That's why we're doing this in the age that we're at, man.
100%.
Crazy.
I love talking about it like you know.
Fuck. All right, well, what time you guys play tonight?
It's funny, we got early flights to home, so we were supposed to play right before Over My Dead Body, but I think we're going to open.
What time's your flights tonight?
10:30. Doors are at 6:30.
Oh my God. Dude.
So the first band's on at 7. We're going to try to go on second around 7:30. And then
dip out
to the airport right after. Vic's staying behind to sell all the merch because this will probably be our biggest merch show. Damn. And you know, he's a trooper. But and then we fly home, and then May I have graduations. Jimmy's son also graduates high school. Another kid, scholarship to college, great kid, Vincent. And then June we start doing a lot more again in the summertime. You know, June 13th and 14th are the shows in New York and DC, and then August, September, October we'll be real busy. Awesome. And then we're just trying to do pocket stuff in between. We're working on next February we're going to go to Texas with Liberty and Justice. Cool. Awesome band.
Awesome, man.
January we're working on something I can't even say, but so special in Indonesia.
Okay.
It's 2 very legendary bands. It would be a dream if it happens. It's actually being worked on right now. They're getting sponsors for the tour, like big venues. Like
tell me off the pod.
I will. I hope it happens. Fingers crossed. So we have a lot in the works. Not going anywhere anytime soon, and just encourage people to check out our new record, you know. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole and listen to our old stuff, there's a total story to be told with this band and how we got to this road now.
Yeah, man. It's great hearing today too, man.
Thank you, man. New records on Equal Vision. It's called By Your Side. It's available everywhere. We've got vinyl. It's on digital everywhere. You know, Equal Vision does their thing. So
kill it.
We have a merch store on merchnow.com, and just anybody that knows me knows I'm easily accessible. Talk to me online. I actually thrive on that stuff. So reach out to me.
DMs, talk to people. Yeah.
Mark Shutdown on Instagram. Or Shutdown NYHC on Instagram or Facebook. Very easy to find.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here, Mark.
Thank you, brother.
Love you, man. This was awesome, dude. Oh, shit.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thanks for listening, guys. Got to give a big shout out to Liquid Death. I've been in a band called H2O for 30 years, and my first real job with a company is a water brand. Go figure. Love you, Liquid Death. Love the people. Love the brand, love the concept, love what they give back, love the community, love what they do for the environment. You can go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on any of their merchandise that they make. They have such incredible collabs. Also, if you want to hear the story of the CEO, my good friend Mike Cesario, on the podcast, you can go to episode 115, part 1. And then 2 years later, we dropped a part 2, which is episode 275 with the CEO, Mike Cesario. Just a man from Delaware with a dream, worked at a marketing company and made this become a reality. Liquid Death is an incredible company, incredible water, incredible people. And I'm super, super honored to be part of them. They sponsor my life. They sponsor everything, my family. So go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on anything you want to buy on that site. If you want to get water, it's exclusively on Amazon.com. Murder your thirst, y'all. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Removery has 155 locations and 1.8 million treatments. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology, cryo-technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Definitely check out One Life, One Chance podcast, episode 281. I have Carmen Brody, Mike McTurnan, and Dustin Ortle from Removery. And this is over a 2-hour conversation. People had submitted questions. It's an incredible conversation breaking down the do's, the don'ts, the fears, process, the results, everything you could imagine about getting a tattoo removed. It's all in this podcast. It's an incredible episode. I appreciate them all coming out for it. So check that out if you want to learn more about Removery and what it's like to get a tattoo removed. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out. I have a lot of friends who are sober, a lot of friends who are straight edge, a lot of my friends who are going through it. I know struggling with substance abuse and alcoholism can be really, really hard, especially knowing who to turn to. It can be really, really daunting. I'm here to say that a good friend of mine and his friend started this incredible treatment center called Refine Recovery. They gave me a phone number, 855-516-3332. You can text, you can call them. It's totally confidential. It's safe. There'll be somebody on the other line to help you out, a compassionate human being to talk to. They help you navigate the process, the insurance treatments. They accept most of private insurances. You can go refinerecovery.com, Refine Recovery Instagram. I know it's hard, but reach out to somebody, man. People care about you. People love you. People want you to be here for a long time. People love you in their lives. If you're going through it, make this phone call. It's totally private. I know people DM me all the time about going through it and going through sobriety and trying to get straight and trying to take care of themselves, and the struggle is totally real. And Refine Recovery is the definitely move. Reach out to them, 855-516-3332, or text them, 855-516-3332. You can call or text this number anytime, 855-516-3332. You know the drill. This number is here for you to call.